Lake, Wisconsin, a picturesque town of about 1,000 people, 62 miles north of Milwaukee, a beautiful summer setting with a great heritage in history and racing. In the streets of the village, they started having sports car races after World War II. The historic markers show where they ran. And at beautiful Road America, just outside the village, ESPN brings you the Bucyrus 200, the second ever race at this historic track for NASCAR's nationwide series. 4 miles and 14 turns. It'll be a big challenge for the drivers today, but it's a field packed with talent that's quite up to the task, from world champions driving for world-famous teams to young relative unknowns hoping we'll all know their name at the end of the day. All kinds of drivers in the field today. 23 never raced here at Road America before in the nationwide series. It's going to be an interesting day. So the weather is beautiful. The drivers standing alongside their cars. They've been introduced and paraded around the racetrack now. Now it's time for the crews to gather for today's opening ceremony.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as we honor America. Presenting our nation's colors is the Wisconsin National Guard. Please remain standing for our invocation by MRO Chaplain Monty Self and the performance of our national anthem by Nashville recording artist Emma Jacob.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we pause and humble our hearts here today and thank you for blessing us with such a beautiful day. We thank you, Father, for our freedoms and opportunity to gather here. We thank you for the track personnel and sponsor who made this event possible. We ask now, Father, that you watch over and keep safe each track safety worker, NASCAR official, each crewman, and each driver in today's race. In the name of Christ our Lord, amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting out, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Time to buckle up. This is the 29th road course race in Nationwide Series history. Only 5 drivers have won more than once. One of those drivers is here today. That is Ron Fellows. A win by Rapid Ron today would make him the all-time road course winner in this Nationwide Series. He and the other drivers set off in search of that win next.
Bucyrus 200 at Road America is brought to you by Bucyrus, supporting clean coal technology, and Nationwide Insurance. Enter this code at codespotter.com for a chance to win one-of-a-kind NASCAR VIP experiences.
Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, where a big crowd has circled this 4-mile road course for the NASCAR Nationwide Series 200-mile race. It's the Bucyrus 200. The engines fire in just a few moments. And tucked backly up now inside our broadcast booth where the air conditioning's on, and I, for one, am happy for that. Alan Bestwick, Rusty Wallace, and Andy Petrie. We talked about Carl Edwards and his absence earlier. So if Carl, if you were here, was the favorite, and probably would have been, who do you like now?
I like Max Pappas. He's starting on the front row. He, you know, they say you got to lose some of these races before you can win them. He really, really wants to win one of these things, and he lost the one in Montreal by just a little bit, Tabor said. Starting on the front row, I really like him driving for Kevin Harvick.
Andy, that's a really good choice, I do believe, but I don't think a road course ringer is going to win this race. I think it's going to be a NASCAR nationwide regular driver. Why? These guys really understand these cars. They've been running them all year long. The shocks, the springs, they understand the bad and the good about these cars, and for those reasons, I don't think it's going to be a ringer. It's got to be a regular in my mind.
Hey, you kind of lead my next topic of conversation, which is we always seem to get into in these road course races, the road course specialists driving an unfamiliar car, or the guys that run these cars on ovals every week doing something unfamiliar to them. Road course racing, who has the upper hand? And if this being the first race for the next generation car makes a difference.
Well, I believe it does make a difference. This is a tough decision for me because then you would think everything's kind of equal. It's kind of new. The road race ringers should jump out and get it done. But still, I'm going to go with the regulars because they understand it more. I really think there's a lot to that. I mean, just as far as brute talent, road racing, yeah, the ringers. You're talking Pappas. You're talking Fellows, guys like that. But don't be surprised if one of the regulars just jumps up there and puts a whooping on them.
Yeah, and this, Rusty, is why I don't think it's really a disadvantage for these ringers to be driving these cars for the first time, because nobody else really has a lot of experience with these things, especially on a road course. But the teams have got experience with the cars. They do know what to do to make the car push or make it loose or to fix problems that these drivers have. And they're driving. These ringers are driving for great teams. I mean, you got Villeneuve driving for Penske. You got Max Pappas driving for Kevin Harvick. These teams know how to win races, and I think that's why it's kind of a level playing field.
Some intriguing combinations there. You just mentioned, right? Throw in Billy Johnson driving for Roush Fenway in the car Carl Edwards was supposed to drive. And you've really got an interesting look to this race. Mix in a little strategy and those gravel traps that are lurking out there, and it could be a very intriguing afternoon here at Road America. So we got some NASCAR Big Iron lined up on pit road, ready to go, right? Well, this is the home state of Harley-Davidson. The trophy for this race, styled by Harley-Davidson. And the chief stylist for Harley-Davidson is standing by down trackside to give those famous words and get this field roaring off into this race. There's Willie G.
And now, race fans, to deliver the most famous words in motorsports, Senior Vice President and Chief Styling Officer for Harley-Davidson, Mr. Willie G. Davidson.
Drivers, start your engine!
Once we get under brake, the first time around, I'm going to talk to you a lot. See if you can hear me back by the rest of the brake to the front. Bridge. Go ahead, run those. So I can tell you about when to go and doubling up and everything. We'll go ahead and do that, but also at the same time.
Here's some of the radio chatter there. Numbers of spotters will be inside these drivers' heads to cover a 4-mile, 14-turn road course. So it's almost time for the cars to roll off onto the speedway. 2 pace laps around a 4-mile track. It's going to take a little bit of time to get done. So let's take a refresher on what this Road America layout looks like and take a lap around.
Let's do it. First, we're going to get down on the turn 1. Leave the start-finish line about 170 miles per hour. Getting down on the turn 1. The trick here, you're carrying so much speed. If you get in too hot, you could spin or do what we call wheel hop and get stuck in those gravel traps, and you don't want that.
And here's another turn. This turn 3. You got a long straightaway after this corner, so you need to make time. But it's also a place where you can get in trouble. You see 2 cars getting together, actually more than 2.
Elevation, a big part of this course. 55 feet downhill to another good passing zone.
Oh, yeah, turn 5, Alan. This is a place where you can pass on the inside and overtake a person. But this number 6 turn, this is the corner I'm most concerned about today. We saw a lot of accidents last year in this particular corner. They get up top, they slide, and look at that. There was 10 cars piled up last year. They kept piling in. We hope that doesn't happen today.
Absolutely. So then you get around through the complex of 7, 8, the carousel, and the high-speed kink. That's a bravery corner. Then down another long straightaway.
Yeah, you go through that kink really high speed. You got a lot of straightaway to get to Canada Corner, and right there you can get on the brakes. You have to get on the brakes really hard. You can wheel hop. You see right here, there's another incident that we have. It's just almost impossible to avoid trouble on this tight track.
Yeah, and Andy, after you leave turn 12 right here, you start heading up those S's to the bottom of the hill to get to turn 14, Alan. That gets us up that long front straightaway.
And 110 feet uphill to the start-finish line. So a very challenging layout ahead here at Road America. Seems like pit strategy and fuel mileage are about a weekly topic of conversation in NASCAR racing anymore. For road course races, Fuel mileage and pit strategy have been a topic of conversation for a couple of decades now. How's it going to play out today?
Well, road course, it is all about strategy, Alan, because you really want to work these things backwards. You can't really lose a lap by pitting under green. So what you want to do, you want to kind of pre-plan your strategy. You look at making that last pit stop around lap 30, which kind of dictates where you make the other ones. We should see the first pit stop around lap 10, and it can be critical to your track position, so the crew chiefs really have to be on their toes.
And the tires, well, most teams ran the entire Friday practice on one set of tires, but there may be a little speed differential between new tires and older tires. A couple people pondering whether a third pit stop for fresh tires would be worth it or not. I don't know if we're going to see it, but it's worth keeping an eye on.
Well, if I'm sitting on the pit box, I'm going to pit as few times as possible. I want to keep my car out front as much as I can.
We got some great high-definition onboard cameras to show you around Road America and some unique looks today as well with our 7 onboard views. Here's Elliott Sadler in our nationwide insurance camera. We're going to ride over Elliott's shoulder today. Ron Fellows, going to watch the Rapid Ron Road Racer man shift.
I love these in-car shots because it does show you just how much skill it takes and coordination for these racers to really get it done on a road course.
And the office view today for Jacques Villeneuve.
Now, this is one guy I want to take a look at. He's real aggressive behind the wheel. How's he going to shift? What's he going to look like in front of his car? I love these new shots because of it.
Justin Allgaier in our Florida Gulf Safe camera going to look out the front bumper as he brakes hard behind somebody else into the corners.
Oh, this could be good stuff right here. I love these camera shots.
And how about this? Here's Andy's favorite shot. Max Pappas, our in-race reporter, carrying our Reams Menards camera, and we're going to look at Max while he does the footwork.
Oh, yeah, right here. This is one of the keys to get around a racetrack on a road course is getting the most out of the brakes. And you'll see Max Pappas working that brake pedal and how he does that downshifting when he's doing it.
Going to ride on board with the 60 car, Billy Johnson, driving the Fastenal car with our Fastenal camera today, subbing for Carl Edwards. And Steve Wallace has got the 5-hour energy camera on board his Toyota. And we'll see Steve-O at work today, too.
I'll be watching him, making sure he's doing it right. At least I got a camera on him. He can't,
Dad's watching.
Give me a different line when I get home.
There you go. Cars on the track beginning the 2 parade and pace laps before they go green in the Bucyrus 200 at Road America. We'll come back with more in just a second. Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and the Bucyrus 200 live on ESPN. Cars on the track, working the first of the 2 parade and pace laps before we go green for 50 laps, just over 200 miles around this 4-mile road course. Some stories from pit road before we go green. We start with Shannon Spake. Hi, Shannon.
Hello, Alan. Less than 24 hours ago, Carl Edwards made the decision to stay in Sonoma, California and work on his Cup car. So he turned the 60 car over to Billy Johnson. Johnson, who currently races sports cars in the Continental Tire Series, has certainly turned heads this weekend. He was fastest in first practice, qualified 4th. When I caught up with him before drivers' intros, he was actually on the phone with Carl Edwards getting some last-minute advice. So what did Edwards say? He said, keep it on the track and bring it home with a good finish. Dave Burns?
Shannon, in 2004, Michael McDowell won 7 races at 7 different road courses. That was in a series called the Star Mazda Series. He won the championship that year, and one of those race wins was right here at Road America. So it was no big surprise when he practiced very fast. It wasn't a big surprise when he sat on the pole, the fastest qualifier for today's race. And guess what I'm thinking? No one's going to be shocked if in that fast 18 car, Michael McDowell is today's race winner. Vince Welch.
Road courses create a variety of challenges on pit road. Here at Road America, it's 845 feet from the time you enter your first speed zone until you get to the first pit box. It'll feel like you're crawling as you approach those initial pits. In fact, it's 41 seconds from pit in to pit out, including your pit stop. You might be tempted to speed here today, but if you do, there will be a steep price to pay. Jamie?
Well, Vince, you know we have some pretty interesting trophies in NASCAR. If you win at Martinsville, you take home the grandfather clock. If you win at Nashville, you take home the Gibson guitar. But none of those are as usable, cool, and loud as this one. A Harley-Davidson will be given to today's winner, and how fitting. Their headquarters are just about an hour and a half away in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And Alan will find out who the lucky recipient is today in about 50 laps.
That is some kind of cool, Jamie. Thanks. Max Pappas is our in-race reporter today, and let's talk to him, Rusty.
Max Pappas, Rusty Wallace, ESPN, you got us?
Got you guys loud and clear.
Max, we got an ESPN mailbag question. It comes from Steve in Austin, Texas. The question is, after years of driving lightweight and high downforce race cars, what are your thoughts on driving heavy, low downforce cars?
Just let me tell you, it's a blast to drive the car here. The Menard car is awesome. This track is definitely, to me, the best track I ever drove a stock car on. It's a blast. It's a great feeling. Awesome racetrack and awesome crowd.
Hey, Max, we were talking to your teammate, Elliott Sadler, and he was kind of laughing. He said, look, I just want to keep my car on the track, but Max, he's going to go for the win. He's going to be real aggressive. Hey, how aggressive are you going to be out there, Max?
I'm going to be as aggressive as it takes for in the last 10 laps. You know, got to keep my fender on. Got to have to drive smart and aggressive. And I always say, I'm in the hands of God. You know, I say the prayer, and I know if it's my day, it's my day.
All right, Max, thanks for talking to us, and have a great day.
Thank you, guys. Ciao, Dilana. Ciao, Kevin.
Max Pappas getting ready to go from the second starting spot today in the Kevin Harvick Incorporated 33 car. Now, drivers have some different things going on today. Turning right and shifting. Pit crews have some different things going on today. Mark Hollywood Armstrong is our over-the-wall reporter today. Hollywood, that car's kind of coming at you from the opposite direction than what you're used to.
It is, Alan. It sounds kind of simple. You know, get a pit strategy, stick to it, and possibly go to victory lane. But there's a lot of teams up and down pit road with that same agenda. And then there's that all-important pit stop where we have to go over the wall. And the car is coming to us from the opposite side. And that in itself can create a lot of chaos for these pit crews. But fans, you'll get to go right over the wall with us today and see us have some fun and hopefully come out with a great finish. Guys?
Hollywood, good luck. Be safe today. We'll watch the views from pit road today as well. Going green shortly at Road America. Still got another pace lap to go. That's 4 miles. What a spectacular place. Beautiful Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. The Bucyrus 200 coming to the green. You see the starting lineup coming across the top of the screen. They'll start that way. They won't stay that way for very long. A couple of things to check out before we go green flag racing. The Goodyear track facts for this speedway. 50 laps to make up the distance. Just a shade over 4 miles is the track length. And that pit window is the big critical number like it seems to be every week.
Yeah, and that's definitely movable because you just have to see what you're going to get during the race. Talk to crew chiefs. They're going to be tracking this in these early stops to see just what kind of mileage they are getting.
And as they come to the green flag, we look past the start-finish line to a couple of key corners at the very start of this race.
Alan, how many times you see them drop the flag and they all crash in the first corner? That's my biggest concern going into turn 1 right there. They're going to enter about 170 miles per hour, probably be out-braking each other. But if you do it wrong, you're going to end up right there in those gravel traps, and when you get stuck, there's no getting out. That's a big problem. The other corner for me is turn 3. As you exit turn 1, they've all kind of got to get single file to get through that right-hander right there. And last year we saw a lot of practices, and a lot of crashes in practice, and we saw a lot of crashes in the race also, right there.
One of the critical corners on this track, if not the most critical corner for speed, is the last corner, turn 14. You got to get off of this corner with as much speed as possible because you got that long front straightaway, and that is a great passing opportunity.
So we'll see who gets the run up the hill off the last corner. There's pit entrance on your right. We'll see if anybody winds up in the kitty litter in the first couple of laps and ruins their chance at a good finish.
It really could happen. I mean, you know that front straightaway that you were talking about, that's a really unique front straightaway. You're climbing uphill. What is it, about 110 feet?
110 feet, yep.
Takes a lot of horsepower to get up that hill. And it's a fun front straightaway, very, very long.
Ron Fellows getting ready to go. There's Max Pappas.
Hey, Max, he is so jacked up, it's unreal. I mean, I've talked to him, and Andy's talked to him. Heck, we all have. And this is his Daytona 500. He's so excited about today's race. He finished second driving for Kevin Harvick in Montreal, Canada the last time, and he thinks he can win this race today.
I've never met a more passionate man about what he does. I love Max Pappas. You can't help but love his enthusiasm for the sport.
Michael McDowell on the pole in the Gibbs 18. Max Pappas alongside. Pace car is off. Up the hill they come to the green flag and the start of the Bucyrus 200, the NASCAR Nationwide Series, racing at Road America for a second time.
Green.
McDowell quickly cleared Pappas on the start. Here's Villeneuve inside of Pappas for second as they sort it out to 3.
Well, it looks like Justin Allgaier locking up the tires coming down into turn 3. A lot of speed right there. The key here is get in single file. I mean, the spotters are helping these guys try to do that right now.
Down the hill, under the bridge, that 55-foot high-speed elevation drop to turn 5.
Yeah, we see right here in second place in that 22 car, Jacques Villeneuve wiggles the car just a little bit under the braking. He gets more out of the brakes than anybody I've seen on a road course. But he's hard on him. He's hard on the car.
Oh, there's those dreaded ripple strips right there that they had so much problem with last year.
At some point today, I'm going to remember to ask you what a ripple strip is.
Oh, that's the same as a rumple strip.
Is that how they call them in Missouri?
Yeah, just whatever, you know. That's when your tires get on it, that bounces like crazy. A lot of different terminations for it, but the drivers want to stay off of those things. It really kills the forward bite on the car.
Time for the carousel.
Big swooping right-hand turn. A lot of drivers tell me it's like being on a huge skid pad. You're trying to give it all the throttle you can. The front end's pushing, the back end's stepping out, Andy. It takes a real balanced car to get through there.
Yeah, it does, and that's one of the places that you can make some speed. It's like I said, it's real flat, so it's kind of unnatural, and especially turning right.
Through the kink, down through Kettle Bottoms, and they'll come to Canada Corner for the first time. McDowell leading, Villeneuve second, Pappas is third. Billy Johnson is fourth, Ron Fellows is fifth. Check that, Fellows has just gotten by Johnson. There's Elliott Sadler in the 2, racing Jason Leffler in the 38.
You see they're climbing back uphill right now. Let's see if Villeneuve really used up the road right there trying to get some bite. But uphill, this leads to turn 14 that Andy's been talking about. Get a lot of run off that corner up this straightaway and try to get that speed up to about 170 miles per hour.
Top 2 putting a little gap on third place, Pappas. There's Johnson looking for a way back around Ron Fellows. Ron, a little bit of a defensive line there.
Yeah, Ron is one of the smoothest drivers. He's won many times here at Road America. Won a lot of times up in Canada. Probably known as one of the best road racers in the country. And he's drove this number 7 Dale Earnhardt Jr. car a couple times now and done real well in it.
Andrew Ranger is on pit road. Quebec native expected to have a pretty good run today. He is in early. We'll check up on that in a second. Ricky Stenhouse, championship leader. He's off the course. Not in the gravel trap, though.
This is just what they didn't want to do. They wanted to try to stay on the track, be conservative, and get a good finish, and not a good start. And Reed Sorensen looks like he may have been involved.
That is that turn 3 area we talked about. One of those 2 corners, Rusty, in the early laps.
Let's take a look at the replay here and see what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Damage on their car. Down into turn 3.
It looks like it down in there.
Andy, it looked like Stenhouse tried to get in underneath the 32 of Sorensen. Maybe stepped out and got into him. But he's tore up his left front fender, and that's really going to hurt the performance of this car.
One thing that these point leaders don't want to do is give away points, and it's so easy to do on a road course. One mistake can put you down. I mean, you can see this is going to be a long day for Ricky.
Vince Weltzer's in the 6th pit. Vince?
Well, you could hear the disappointment in Ricky Stenhouse's voice when he radioed into crew chief Mike Kelly, telling Mike he didn't feel like he hit anything, but he knew that he'd done some damage to that left front. You guys get a good look at it there on the camera as Stenhouse bringing it in. There are 2 goals today. Simple. Keep it on the track. Be there at the end. They felt like if they could do those 2 things, they'd have a top 10 finish. Off to a rocky start, Alan.
He was racing for 10th and 11th spots. At the moment, he had the contact with Sorensen. This is looking ahead from Justin Allgaier.
You see, he got in there just a little too hard. Got actually off the track, Ricky did, in the grass.
Oh, looks like he got off in the grass. I mean, I don't know how you could do that. I mean, obviously he did it, but when you do that, boy, there's no grip to that front end, and that maybe pushes out, and the front end comes around. Tough deal.
So keep an eye on the championship leader starting today, Stenhouse Jr. This is Fellows in the 7, Johnson in the 60, and that's for 4th and 5th places. Steve Wallace just behind them in the 66.
I think Johnson's doing a good job not pushing the issue right here. He's faster than Fellows, but he's not really pushing the issue. But it looks like he's got a good car, Shannon.
Yeah, I told you guys at the start of the race how this was a last-minute decision just about 24 hours ago. He decided to drive this car instead of Carl Edwards. So I asked Johnson who the car was actually set up for, whether they set it up for Carl Edwards they set it up for Johnson, and he told me they tested at Road Atlanta a couple weeks ago. He has a very similar driving style to Carl Edwards, so they just went with what they thought would work for both of them.
Well, I think that was a good call. I mean, obviously it's working good now, and in my opinion, Billy's just going to get faster and faster as this race gets on. I mean, running laps like you are right now by yourself, that's one thing. But Andy, when they get these restarts going on and they bomb down to turn 1 and turn 3, that's where the driving style is going to change for Billy. A lot of things might happen that doesn't normally happen in his style of racing.
Well, if I'm on his box as his crew chief right now, I'll be saying, hey, you know, you're running 5th. There's no reason to push this issue. Nobody's really coming from behind. You see Stephen Wallace a few car lengths back. So there's no real pressure. So don't go out there and make a mistake like we just saw Ricky Stenhouse do and take yourself out of a chance to win this thing.
Remember, I mentioned Andrew Ranger on pit road earlier. That was a strategy move. Report from pit road is they just topped off the fuel. Well, he got busted for speeding entering and speeding leaving pit road. There's his pass-through penalty. That is going to hurt.
So much for that strategy.
Michael McDowell started on the pole. He's led all of the laps so far, all 3 of them that have been run here at Road America. Beautiful pictures from Road America in the Bucyrus 200 NASCAR Nationwide Series race just underway. Working the 5th of 50 laps. You're looking at the race for the lead. Going down to turn 5, it's Michael McDowell in the Gibbs 18 leading Jacques Villeneuve in the Penske 22. Now back up the hill around to turn 6. You know, we're getting those spectacular pictures from on top, and we were talking about all the cool onboard angles we've got for this race. We've got one less right now. Minute ago, riding with Justin Allgaier down to turn 3.
Let's listen to his car here. Oh, wheel hop. Wheel hop right into back of his teammate, Reed Sorensen. And
looks like our camera was the victim there.
So the camera down low on the front bumper needs a pit stop. McDowell put a little bit of distance on Villeneuve here.
Yeah, I noticed Villeneuve seems like he's kind of calmed down a little bit, maybe not pushing it quite as hard, but you got to give McDowell credit, man. He is really running.
You know, last year the first pit stop came around lap 13, and I believe the second one we were talking about came lap 31. You can tell right now these guys just minding their own business and driving smooth, keeping it on the track, and trying to get to that first window where they can put fuel in this thing and make it to the end with just one more stop.
So halfway to that first window, if it's at lap 10, like Andy was talking, let's get some updates on the 18 and the 22, first and second. Dave?
Alan, both of those drivers and crews have been very quiet on the radio. You saw that little wiggle from Michael McDowell. He has not been pushing it as you guys speculated. In fact, they've been telling Michael he's only catching you in the braking zones. It doesn't look like it right now, but earlier that was the case. So they said Jacques is using up his car. You're doing just fine. Just be smooth. As for second place Villeneuve, Andy, I think it was lap 1, turn 2. You mentioned the braking and how hard he is on them. That, in fact, was the only thing Jacques said they could improve yesterday during their first practice. And crew chief Todd Gordon knew exactly what it was. The soft brake pedal was being caused by air ducts that were not open enough on the front of the car. In fact, it was the screening on the front bumper that was not allowing enough air in. They went from a 3/16 open screen to 5/16. That increased the cooling, that brought the pedal back, and that was just what Jacques needed. Alan?
Yeah, Vince, I saw that on the grid. Rusty and I were down there right during the pre-race show. We saw some of the cars and how much brake opening they had, and this 22 had the most of anybody we saw. But I looked at Rusty, I said, he's going to need every bit of that.
Here's the first move to pit road among the front-running cars. Trevor Bayne is in.
Well, that kind of tips their strategy a little bit. It tells me that they're getting a lot better mileage than some of the teams I talked to, because if they're going to do it on one more stop, it's a little bit early. Vince?
Actually, Andy, Chris Andrews told me today they were concerned because they were getting worse mileage than everyone else. So we'll make sure that that is indeed the issue, because they're coming in much earlier as you anticipated. A little bit of a stall there for the car of Trevor Bayne. 4 fresh tires and 2 cans of fuel for the 16.
Yeah, he's really going to have to count for some, hope for a lot of cautions to make this strategy work right here, because this is pitting awful early.
Yeah, he's going to go 22 and 23 laps these next 2 segments. And most of the crew chiefs I talked to can't go that far. Maybe they can. We'll see.
Yeah, about everybody I've talked to, Andy, he's getting about 4 miles to gallon here. They're about 1 mile per gallon off of what they get at an oval trick here. And that's that's some of the readings I've heard.
Yeah, and 4 miles a gallon, that's a gallon a lap around this place.
Andy, let's talk about something the crew chiefs factor into all this, which is counting caution laps. Last year in this race, which was the first at Road America, only 2 cautions in the first 25 laps, but 5 cautions in the final 25 laps. Obviously, the 16 team counting on there being a lot of caution laps later in this race.
Yeah, what they better hope is they don't have all those cautions in that last part of the race when they start adding laps to the race. Those green-white checkers is what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Because if it goes to that point, then they're going to be in real trouble. But I expect that they will see a lot of caution laps to improve their mileage a lot better than what we heard, like 4 miles to the gallon.
Green-white checker here, that's 12 miles. That's a lot of fuel in one of these race cars. Michael McDowell leading, expecting the leaders to come in for their first round of pit stops in another 3 to 4 laps. We'll take a break now and come back for that in the Bucyrus 200. Back at Road America, didn't we just talk about cautions? First one's out in this race. That is the 41 car of Doug Harrington, a Texan in his Nationwide Series debut road racing background. Canada corner kind of went wrong.
Yeah, you try to put as much rear brake in these cars as you can, but you can see right there just too much. It starts wheel hopping and get no traction whatsoever when those wheels start hopping off the ground, and there he is stuck in the gravel.
Harrington was 23rd at the time. Leaders coming to the pit road opening for the first time.
I'll take it.
Absolutely.
This is a big good chance for Trevor Bain to make up a little track position now because he just pitted under green.
Is that Elliott Sadler just stayed out?
Yeah, Elliott stayed out.
So does
Steven stayed out.
64 stayed out.
So these pit stops are going to come as they complete lap number 7. The top 5 have come in. Jamie?
And Ron Fellows in the 7 was able to gain 1 position so far in this race. Hasn't said a word on the radio, so I'm wondering what they're going to do here. 4 tires, fill it up with Sunoco fuel. Remember, trying to get his first race at Road America.
This race 4th in points. Justin Allgaier came into this race 4th in points, says the car is fine. They're going to give him 4 fresh Goodyear tires and a couple of cans of Sunoco fuel. Likes it. Shannon?
Well, Billy Johnson practiced with his 60 team a couple of weeks ago on these pit stops. A little tight. They're going to make an air pressure and 4 tires. Dave Burns.
The front runners are on pit road as well. Shannon, the 22 of Brad Keselowski, and trouble now for Billy Johnson. There's Keselowski. He'll get Keselowski's car, that is being driven by Jacques Villeneuve today. Villeneuve gets no changes on the car. Wow, almost got a fender change right there for Max Pappas. Pappas wanted adjustments. He was loose in the right-handers, tight in the left-handers, so they made those adjustments. And as well, the leader, Michael McDowell, was on and off of pit road, fuel, and 4 fresh tires for McDowell in the 18. Alan?
All right, David, thanks. So we check how the guys that went to pit road came off pit road. Watch this.
Yeah, it gets tight down there, too. That's almost a dead heat.
But that was for second because Michael McDowell got off pit road first. He won't be the leader on the restart, though. Got some cars that stayed out. We'll reset it and restart it from Road America. Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Picturesque town, beautiful racetrack, and a beautiful day for racing for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. In their second go on this tough 4-mile track, already been a little contact, been a lot of hard work behind the wheel, and 1 caution flag, the yellow waving just a moment ago when Doug Harrington got off the track down at Canada Corner. Cleanup still ongoing. Take a minute and give you a look at what's upcoming where motorsports are concerned on the ESPN networks. Summit Racing Equipment NHRA Nationals qualifying tonight, 10 Eastern ESPN2, finals tomorrow at 8 Eastern on ESPN2. Get you ready for the Sonoma Sprint Cup race with NASCAR Now, presented by 5 Hour Energy. That's tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, over on ESPN2. And then the Nationwide Series moves on from here in Wisconsin to Daytona Beach. The Subway Jalapeno 250 at Daytona. That's next Friday night, 7 Eastern, here on ESPN. Should be a good one. Let's check with Vince Welch.
You see crew chief Mike Kelly. We'll get a look at Mike talking with some of his crew members. Of course, the crew chief of the 6 car, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the points leader, off the track early with some contact and damage to the left front. Mike going over with the crew right now. They just spent a long time repairing that car and the damage to it and making sure that everybody got everything taken care of. Let's get a quick comment with Mike. Mike, what was the extent of the damage on Ricky's car?
It looks like the left front fender got tore up pretty good there. Tore it in a couple pieces. We got some patches on it here. We'll take a look at what we got here, and hopefully we'll have to come back and work on it. I think we got it fixed up.
Thanks, Mike. Alan?
All right, Vince, thanks. We look at the 6 car on track and some of the patches that they did put on it. And we'll see how Stenhouse is able to rally. Right now, he's back in 30th position under this first caution. They have some debris that has fallen off of one of the cars. They have to go out and retrieve. That's why the yellow's been extended. We'll take a break, come back for the restart in the Bucyrus 200. for the restart of the Bucyrus 200 at Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. You see the front two, Stephen Wallace in the 66, Elliott Sadler in the 2. They are 2 of 5 who did not pit under this yellow. Shannon?
Well, down here with the 66 crew, okay, decision to stay out. Why'd you guys stay out, and when do you have to come down and pit?
Well, we're just trying to break the race down to a 2-stop race. Stephen's doing a great job out there in the 5-hour Energy Toyota, and we're just trying to run our own race here. The road courses are always wild races, and fuel mileage always plays a part, but we've got our strategy, and we're just trying to stick to it.
All right, guys, I also caught up with Ernie Cope on the 2 car. He said they are going to try to make it 2 stops. They got to come down at 13 unless there's another caution. They'll come down at 14. Alan?
Okay, Shannon, thanks. Top 5 didn't pit. Wallace, Sadler, Bowles, Annette, and Timmy Hill. Michael McDowell, first off the pit road, is in 6th position. Our restart reset. Dennis Setzer got the free pass. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is way back in the field.
A lot of time left for Ricky to catch back up through strategy and things like that. Looks like get that car patched up, that 6 car. He should be okay.
Ready? Green flag, green flag.
Car you saw getting shuffled a little bit was Jason Bowles. Young man making his Nationwide Series debut for Rusty Wallace Racing. First of 3 he's going to run this year. Here's a bid for 2nd place. Villeneuve on the move.
Well, I tell you, that's been a great passing zone for him. Villeneuve, last year we saw him do that many times, getting into turn 5. And you might notice they repaved this section. There's more grip down there, and also in turn 6, which is helping these drivers with more bite, Andy.
Yeah, it looks like Elliott Sadler's going backwards here. A lot of cars getting by him. See right there, Michael McDowell gets the spot.
Yeah, remember we mentioned that some people felt like new tires were worth just a little bit. He didn't pit. There's guys with fresh tires on going by him.
Yeah, I think Elliott Sadler also being a little conservative here. He doesn't want to do anything that's going to, knock him out of a chance of a good finish right now, because it's really not the time to be racing aggressive.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Right now, just keep it on the track. Just be smooth. You don't have to be the fastest guy out there right now. You just got to log laps, get to your pit window, synchronize your downshifts, don't lock up the brakes, keep it on the course. The #1 goal today for these guys.
Another thing that happened on that restart, we saw Trevor Bain. He made a green flag stop and stayed out when that caution came out. He did not get to line up in front of the cars that pitted, and to me, I think that's wrong. I believe he should have lined up in front of the 18 car, Michael McDowell, because he was the first car off the pit road, and Trevor Bain didn't pit. He stayed out, but these cars were able to get on pit road and off the pit road and blend in front of him. Yep. I don't think that's the way it should work, but that's the way they line them up.
So Bain right now is caught back in the 18th position. Close moment there when you saw McDowell and Pappas get together in some traffic. Here's Villeneuve looking for the lead on Steve Wallace. That's up the hill, coming to start finish.
Looking for a hole.
Takes a lot of horsepower to get up there. He's going to try to make the pass on the outside. Look at that, got a lot of momentum.
Ron Fellows with him in the 7.
We saw that car, the 41 car, lock his rear wheels up and get in that gravel trap. And that 22 car, Villeneuve, he can get so much out of the brakes. He can get on the brakes way late and not wheel hop. He's got some kind of a system to be able to do that. We see Stephen Wallace get off the track just a little bit, but he gets the most out of the brakes, and that's where he's going to make a lot of his passes today.
Andy, I always wonder how some of the really good road racers can do that. I mean, you think they got the same brakes as everybody else, but their techniques are totally different. I used to watch Robbie Gordon, same brakes, outrun everybody.
McDowell on the move in the 18. Whoa, is right.
Man, he went right across the front of Michael McDowell there.
So Villeneuve the leader, Fellows to 2nd, McDowell 3rd. That's Pappas 4th in the 33. Then Steve Wallace and Elliott Sadler. Remember, they did not stop. 66 and 2 in 5th and 6th.
Tell the 18 if he does this again, I dump him. I let him go and I dump him.
Well, that's it's early in the race, so he did cut him a little break. But later in the race, if we try that, I don't think he's going to get that break.
And you got to remember, Max is not driving for points. He's driving for wins. I mean, this is a rare opportunity. to drive a car this good, like Kevin Harvick's car, and he wants to make the most of it. He told everybody before the race, he said, I'm going for it. I'm not going to wait around for nobody. They rough me up, I'm roughing them back.
Yeah, but he's being smart. He's not doing it now. He doesn't want to be over-aggressive at this point because that'll take him out of the shot to win the thing if he messes the car up.
Yeah, well said. You can tear that thing up, put you right out of the race.
It's hard to contain that anger sometimes because, you feel somebody cut you off or did something wrong. You want to retaliate, but usually when you do that, you're the one that pays the price.
Of course, Max Papis is running in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series this season full-time. He is 11th in that championship at the moment. And I think Max also understands, because he's running in that series full-time, he understands the meaning of the phrase, have at it, boys.
And, boy, he's having at it right now. Look at this. I love this foot cam. You can see just how he shifts using no clutch whatsoever, just let up the gas just barely. You see he's using his left foot, making sure the brake is there, but he's right foot braking. You see how he rolls that gas pedal and the clutch. All of that helps him to keep from locking those rear wheels up and getting the most he can out of his brake.
Andy, wouldn't you call that a little bit of old school style
braking?
Old school, yep. I mean, most of the guys don't even use the they don't use the brake much at all. The clutch, they just kind of hold the brake and just tap the throttle and jam it in gear. But Max is doing the traditional heel-toe shifting.
We've seen a couple different styles. I've seen guys that just don't ever even look at the clutch after they get going. But this style works for Max.
Borsed does that.
Borsed also. Two great road racers, so you can't argue with the with the style.
Bottom screen, Ron Fellows got in on Villeneuve, trying to press him for the lead. Here comes McDowell up the hill to turn 6 in the 18, trying to get second from Ron.
Michael McDowell being pretty aggressive so far in this one. He got out front, got the lead, didn't have to make any aggressive moves, but now that he's back in the pack, he wants that lead back.
Well, he was first off pit road, but Villeneuve restarted 6th and got through the traffic more quickly than McDowell and got to the front. Now McDowell's got to try and overtake him.
This guy's got hope for a lot of cautions to make this strategy that these leaders are doing right now make it work. It's awful early to pit lap 6. We talked earlier that the leader, Carl Edwards, who won the race last year, pitted on lap 13, and they get on 31 to make it work for him. Lap 6, Andy?
Yeah, it's going to be tough for some of them to make it on one more stop. We have to count on a lot of cautions, and this thing can really develop a lot different than we think a typical road race to be. So you just never know what strategy is going to be the winning strategy. We'll know when the thing's over.
There's Ron Fellows running 3rd in that 7 car, Jamie.
And he started 5th today, Alan, and the last time we saw him in a race was Montreal last year. And at 51 years old, he says it's a little harder to shake the rust off. But, guys, it doesn't look like it today. The last round of stops, they did up the air pressure in all 4 tires. It seems to be helping as he looks to the front. Dave Burns?
Jamie, as Jacques Villeneuve continues to get pressure from behind from the other drivers, you might wonder what his strategy is. Is he laying back at all for fuel mileage or anything like that? Well, Jacques wanted to know once he got into the lead what the crew wanted to do. Listen to the radio.
Do you want me to save fuel or just run for it?
Run a pace you're happy with. Run a pace you're happy with. Don't need to save.
The only thing that might make Jacques unhappy right now is all the cars that have been in his rearview mirror. Remember, just about a lap ago, Fellows was about to pass him. Now Michael McDowell is hot on his trail.
And saw him taking a glance at that rearview mirror, Dave, as he exited that 3rd corner and started to run down the hill.
Turn 5 right there has been Jacques one of his best corners. We've talked about that earlier.
Yeah, you see, he went all the way to 1st gear. That's a real tight corner.
We talked about that. How many cars going to be using 1st gear, 2nd gear? So you just saw him going to 1st right there, huh?
Yep, using 2nd right here.
Okay.
Talked to a few of the crew chiefs down there, and some of them are using 1st gear on the track in some of the tight corners.
Yeah, I suppose using the entire gearbox, using all the ratios, might make their car run a little bit quicker and accelerate better, but I'd be real concerned about tearing the transmission up. If I got to do more things than I really need to do, I don't like doing that. Extra shifts creates extra problems in my past, but these transmissions nowadays are awful tough. That's the saving grace.
They are tough, but they will break. And the other thing about shifting one more time is it uses a little more fuel.
Yeah, good point.
Looking back at Elliott Sadler in the 2, who was slipped by Steve Wallace in the 66. Those 2 drivers, remember, did not pit on the caution when most of the other front runners did. Sadler in 5th, Wallace in 6th for the moment.
Saw a car get off right there.
It's Jason Bowles, 64.
Looks like he did get off the track just a little. I don't see hit anything.
He's got damage on the left front
He got
fender.
smoke. Yep, he did hit something. Looks like he's going to have to make a pit stop. He was due for one. He stayed out under that caution.
Yes, he did.
All right, guys, ready. Guy, what you got?
Yeah, he just slid off the track right there.
Isn't that the kink right there, Alan?
Yes, sir. Carried too much speed.
Oh,
man, he's all over that guardrail.
Oh.
Wow. Bucyrus.
That's why they make those signs out of that foam.
That's why they make so many of them, too.
Yes. Kind of like those front bumper cameras.
Backups.
You know, one of the corners out there we talked earlier about was the kink corner that Jason just went off in. It's a very high-speed corner. You really want to run through it as hard as you can. It takes a lot of nerve to do it, and if you can do it, you can pick some speed up. But if you get it wrong, it happens just what happened to Jason.
Like
get off.
Trevor Bain now is on his car.
I'll get you back out there. We just spun up here in one. You got traffic coming. Hold on. Stay to the right. Come to your left. Got two more coming. Two more.
Had beautiful weather today, but we've had some rain up here, and you see how it's a little bit wet in the grassy areas.
So, Trevor Bain, when you spin off to the inside like that, that was a getting back on the gas spin.
Yeah, probably carrying just too much throttle instead of too much speed.
So that knocks Trevor Bain back from 15th position. He has regrouped, and we'll check next time he comes by where he recycles in the scoring.
I'm interested to see if Bain had any wheel hopping going into that turn one also, Alan. It's a good point you said about picking the throttle up and causing it to spin. But I want to see what...
He's inside of Brian Scott. Like he just tried to stay off of Brian.
Yeah, trying to make a pass there. And
all right, so Bain has continued, and that has knocked him back to 25th position from 15th. So it cost him 10 spots and a little damage there on the back corner of the car.
Well, McDowell's got a good car. Look how he's just all over Villeneuve. Looks like he's got a shot at him right here.
That's a tight spot to pass, though.
It is. Man, he is wearing his bumper out right now. And by doing this, boy, you're really getting your brakes hot. I mean, you're really overheating those brakes. That 18 car is a McDowell. He's got to be careful with that part, but he's proven he's got a fast car.
Villeneuve does not want to give up that lead.
And old cagey Ron Fellows is sitting back there nice and cool going, okay, boys, just race at it. Knock yourself off the racetrack. I'm going to go up here and steal this win because you cats are getting a little too rough.
Here he comes.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to outbrake Villeneuve getting into the corner.
If he uses his bumper.
Make it pass him like that.
Look at that. Wow.
Yeah, I think if I'm Villeneuve, I might just go ahead and give it to him now.
Boy. Wow.
This is some great side-by-side racing.
Steve Wallace has come to pit road.
And you see now Ron Fellows has caught these two leaders.
What a great race for the lead. There's Steve making his pit stop while we keep an eye on that lead fight on the right. McDowell's in there. He should have position on the inside going to the next corner. Watching Hollywood Armstrong on the left as the lead does settle down. McDowell goes to the point.
Well, not so fast. Got the angle. Whoa, contact.
So Villeneuve knocked from first back to fourth. Fellows and Pappas get through after that little rub with McDowell.
You know, Al, I just started to say, if I was Jacques Villeneuve, I think I'd just say, go ahead a little bit because this kid is wearing my bumper out. You're all far early to race to be that defensive.
Michael McDowell back to the front in the Bucyrus 200 at Road America. Some great racing here in Wisconsin this afternoon.
Berlin's legendary Olympic Stadium is quiet now, but tomorrow a sold-out crowd will be watching two-time defending World Cup champion Germany take on Canada in the opening round of FIFA World Cup 2011, live on ESPN.
Bob, thanks. Look forward to seeing how the USA team makes out in the Women's World Cup over the next couple of weeks. Race for the lead in the Bucyrus 200 Road America NASCAR Nationwide Series. Michael McDowell in the 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing, being chased by Ron Fellows in Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s 7 car. About 0.8 of a second between them. Max Pappas is 3rd, Jacques Villeneuve's 4th, and it's a pretty good distance back to 5th place, Justin Allgaier. While we were in the break, a couple of pit stops. Elliott Sadler made a green flag pit stop, and Trevor Bayne made a green flag pit stop with a fairly obvious problem, Vince.
You see the water spewing out of the car. They had overheated. He had spun. They had a lot of debris on the grill. The water temperature got up to 280. They got the grill cleaned off. It has now gone back to 250. Alan?
All right, Vince, thanks. There's trouble for
back up,
Billy Johnson. Turn 5.
All right, you got the 01 going to be coming inside here. Watch the 01. Right there he is. All right, you're all clear. You got the 6 up.
He was running in 7th. Johnson, the young Californian, subbing for Carl Edwards in this car today.
Classic wheel hop again. You see that, Andy? Starts bouncing the rear tire, spins.
He's tried to make up too much ground getting in the corner. You see there, just locks up the rear wheels at a good spot, though. It wasn't around one of those gravel traps, or didn't get into the gravel trap. He had that runoff area. Real lucky not to get stuck over there. Yeah, it's just bouncing the rear wheels.
Still there. Still outside.
The rear wheels. No grip whatsoever when that's happening.
And that's one of the big differences between the style of cars that he's been accustomed to driving versus these big old heavy NASCARs. He's got to understand those brakes and how hard he can drive the car into the corner. He's got to figure it out now, I'd say.
Yeah, I think he knows where the limit is anyway.
So all 3 Roush Fenway cars have had their troubles so far today.
Okay, here's another strategy play. 34 laps to go. Here comes Michael McDowell in the 18 to make what should be his final stop.
34 to go. Trevor Bayne back in. See them forcing some water into the cooling system of that car. So Ron Fellows is the new leader.
Actually, this won't be his final stop. Doing the math, this should be his. He'll have to still make one more stop. This is splitting it up into 2 segments.
Okay, Dave.
And Alan, this crew this weekend is the Germain Racing crew that normally would pit the Todd Bodine truck. The fuel are going to work there, putting Sunoco fuel in the right side of the 18 car. They will get no fresh tires, just fuel, making sure they've got every drop in there they need so they can go this next window. He's gone.
So just backing up again and kind of covering the ground again with 33 laps to go. He's splitting the difference and looking to make one more stop later.
Yeah, he'll still have to make another stop, but he's going to have enough fuel now, I'm sure, in insurance in case we have a green-white checker.
Yeah, that really helped him on the back end now. Gave him about 4 or 5 extra laps in case there's problems at the end of this race. He could do that because he was a leader. He was way out front. He was running good.
He just split it up, and you can see he wasn't out of fuel, so it didn't take that long to go ahead and top it off. They did have time, it looked like, to maybe change 2 tires, but they decided to stay with what they had.
Now we ride with Ron Fellows. It's a pretty good fight for position back in traffic, 7th and 8th. 67 cars, J.R. Fitzpatrick. The 09 is Kenny Wallace.
I watched JR practice this week, especially down in the S's, leaving Canada Corner, and I'll tell you what, he was really flying up through those S's. He's got a lot of experience in these road race cars, so if he runs really good here, it won't surprise me. I've seen him race in Montreal, looked great there.
You know, it's a funny thing. He shows up at a lot of these Nationwide Series road course races, but he'll look you right in the eye and he'll say, I don't know why people consider me a road course specialist. In the NASCAR Canada Series, Canadian Tire Series, they run a lot of oval tracks. And that's where he races most of the time. Just when we see him, it ends up being the road course races a lot. Newt Moore, veteran crew chief, heading up the effort for that 67 here this weekend. Toronto's Ron Fellows out in front by 2.9 seconds. Not quite halfway through today's Bucyrus 200 for the Nationwide Series at Road America. Ron Fellows leading the Bucyrus 200 at Road America. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. Completed 19 of the 50 laps that'll make up today's race. And Fellows has about a 2.6 second advantage on second place Max Pappas. We're in that kind of an odd place in this event where the running order is going to jump up and down because some have made green flag pit stops, some have not. Billy Johnson's in for one now, Shannon.
and it's going to be 4 tires for the 60 car. Remember, guys, he got into that pit stall on the first pit stop that he made, had a little problem getting out. This is only his second start in the Nationwide Series. They knew that this was going to be a trouble spot for him. 4 tires for the 60 team right now. Remember, owner points are on the line.
All right, Shannon, thanks. So Johnson will rejoin the chase here. The guys in the top positions, Fellows, Pappas, Villeneuve, Allgaier, Leffler, they've not stopped in this round of pit stops. Michael McDowell, who was the leader before he gave up the top spot, is in 12th place at the moment, and he's 46.9 seconds behind Ron Fellows. So it'll be interesting to me when Fellows stops and comes back on the track to see how that all shakes out.
Yeah, what we saw when the 18 pitted, he only got fuel, so he didn't get fresh tires. Not really going to get a tire advantage, but he may find a place to run on the track. Uh-oh, got the 41 car spun off again here. It's not stuck this time.
Doug Harrington went off in the gravel at Canada Corner before. And so he gets away, and everybody else gets away, and we remain under the green flag.
That gap between Fellows and Max Pappas is kind of stabilized.
Now look at the lap times, and they're almost identical, and in fact, Max is a little bit quicker occasionally, but Fellows is right there, laying those real smooth laps down, lap after lap.
There's Jacques Villeneuve in for a green flag pit stop, lap 20 for him. It's a long pit road at 35 miles an hour, Dave.
Remember, Alan, this is his second pit stop. He's already radioed in one thinking he's done. That's a clean grill. Listen.
Okay, I picked up some grass, I think. The temperatures have gone up a little bit, but the water is not red yet.
They're not alarmed about the temperatures, but they'll take a swipe at that grill for sure. 4 fresh tires full of Sunoco fuel. Car just a little bit loose. If anything, a minor air pressure adjustment for Villeneuve at this point on lap 20. Vince?
The 6 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has coming to pit lane as well. It's been an eventful day for Stenhouse. Remember, he was off track early as the points leader, and they had to repair that damage to the left front. Jamie?
And the 88 Eric Almirola had a slow stop last time around, and he's still in his box now working on the right rear. His fuel pressure was going up and down. They told him just go ahead and pit. Doing a great job today, but guys, they're having problems with this right rear tire. He's still up on the jack. On the right side, they got it. He's down and away.
Remember, we talked on the pace laps. Everything is opposite on these cars.
It is. Every time you come to a road course, it's always hard to get kind of acclimated to which are, the movements are not natural. Oh, we got
Kevin Conway.
Got one stuck. Now this is going to bring out a yellow.
That's down in turn 1. And a full course caution. Just the second time in this race at lap number 20.
Well, you don't have to get very far into that gravel to get stuck. See, he's got one tire on the asphalt.
Over 30 broke real early. I was just trying to give him room and spun myself instead of him.
Well, there you go. Now we know what happened from Kevin's point of view.
Yeah, just trying to avoid a crash and actually became one.
So interesting here because some of the guys who've not yet made a pit stop under the green. First, we check out what happened to Kevin Conway in the 87. Looking ahead from Billy Johnson.
He's getting down to the turn 1. See him already spun and back in that gravel trap. So that's the fastest part of the racetrack. You sail down to the turn 1. It's about 170 like we talked about. Hard to get him stopped if you do it wrong.
Running order is going to get shuffled up by some pit stops and some strategy when we come back to the Bucyrus 200 at Road America. We'll follow up. How many of these kids you think are saying, I'll race you? Down to the bottom. As we come back to Road America, under caution for the second time in today's Bucyrus 200. Pace car picking up the field. Pit stops have not been made under the yellow flag yet. Ron Fellows is your race leader. Front 7 cars have not stopped in this cycle of pit stops. First one in the running order that has is the 18 car, Michael McDowell, and at the moment he shows in 8th position. There are some cars behind McDowell that haven't stopped before you get back to Villeneuve and some of the other cars that have been among the lead group here. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, McDowell can definitely make it one more stop, and I assume everybody can from here. So we'll see. I'll be surprised if you don't see the leaders make that pit stop. And Michael McDowell take the advantage of staying out now to get the lead back. See some red gauges on that dash right there of Elliott Sadler. Oh, I see he's shutting it off. Caught you.
Saving fuel. Saving fuel.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
At a road course race, what a shock. Actually, at any race anymore.
Yeah, here they come, Alan.
Yellow lines where the pit road speed limit begins, and it is a long haul down to their pit boxes. For safety reasons, NASCAR choosing to start the pit road speed limit before they cross under that bridge, which gets kind of narrow there, rather than have the cars going through their full speed. Fellows, Pappas, Allgaier, Leffler, Fitzpatrick, Kenny Wallace, Mike Wallace. The order coming in, Jamie.
Yes, and Mr. Ron Fellows saying he's getting a little bit loose on throttle. They're taking the air out in the rear tires that they put in last time. 4 tires and fill it up.
Justin Allgaier had an open box in front of him and behind him. He says he's just lacking grip off the corners. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment in both rear tires. Shannon?
Jason Leffler came into this race 6th in the points. He is in his pit box right now. He has been begging for grip all race long. They made a wedge adjustment in 4 tires. Dave?
Max Pappas running second, looking for grip as well. They make a wedge adjustment to give him some of that. It got tighter and longer as the run went on for Pappas. He's getting 4 fresh tires and full of fuel. He's also lost his tach and reset it during that last run. That means he didn't have the telltale gauge set to pit road speed. He had to watch 42.50 on first gear, guys.
Boy, he waited a long time on that fuel. That cost him a few spots, but he had to get it full.
Elliott Sadler had that earlier under a green flag pit stop, too, waiting for the fuel to finish. So Fellows off pit road first. McDowell goes to the lead by not pitting. We come back for the restart at Road America in just a minute.
Where winners are celebrated, champions are crowned, and legends are born. Home of the biggest events in motorsports, ESPN and ABC.
Our 5-hour Energy Rapid Recap on what's going on so far today at Road America. Championship leader Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in some trouble early, ripped up the left front corner of his car. He's been trying to make up the ground ever since. Carl Edwards deciding to pass on today's race. Billy Johnson subbing in the 60. He's had a couple of moments in the day.
Yeah, he spun a timer out there, and he's got the car bound backwards. Now he's making pit stop, trying to get caught back up. You see there, turn 5, goes around, gets a nose out in the gravel trap, gets lucky, gets it backed out of there, and he's okay.
And we have had some terrific racing up front. Villeneuve 22, McDowell 18 particularly.
Well, these two went at it hard and heavy. You can see right here, Villeneuve gets shoved off the track.
Hey, you know what's juicy about looking at that? They're going to be first and second for this restart coming up here in a minute.
Okay, here we go again.
So on the shuffle of things under this caution, remember the yellow coming out in the middle of a cycle of green flag pit stops. McDowell's going to go to the point. Villeneuve's going to go to second. And the 33 car of Max Pappas is going to restart at the tail end of the line for driving through too many pit boxes. I'm guessing by the hand gesture he's trying to get that rule explained to him.
Yeah, what you can't do is drive through more than 2 pit boxes to get to your pit stall. And you see he's got a lot of open pits right there, but he drives through, well, not many more than 2, but yeah, it definitely was. Yeah, I thought he was stopping one sooner, but yeah, he did go through too many stalls. And that's a no-no. I mean, it's just one of the rules.
So that's going to cost Max a bunch of track position.
Am I hearing this right? We have to start at the tail end of the longest line. He drove through, they said, 5 boxes before he got to ours. He can only drive through 3 before you get to ours.
Well, there's the explanation, and we have the video. David Hyder, the crew chief, looking on there, talking to his driver.
Yeah, we're hearing they're going to come back in. Now here you'll see him come in and top off the fuel and start at the back of the field.
Mr. Max Pappas has just turned into Mad Max Pappas. He's going to blow through this field like you're not believing.
Okay, let's go.
Shannon, what's going on down there?
Well, Kenny Wallace, you can see the crew guys in the window. The shifter knob broke off his shifter. He has enough left where he actually can shift it, but it's hurting his hand. So what they've done is they've sort of made something to go on top of that shifter. It's a little bit softer. They've also given him some padding to put on his gloves so that it's not hurting his hand anymore.
I tell you, you got to shift.
Kenny Wallace going off pit road right now. The guys are giving him a push.
A great report, Shannon, I'll tell you. But back to that shifter, I mean, you got to shift so many times. If you can't grab that shifter and be aggressive with it, you just can't get it done.
Even crank.
Take a look at this. They're making a makeshift knob, Andy. Out of some rags or something, it looks like.
Yeah, just put something on there to try to protect his hand.
Transmission shifter levers, the topic that we explore right now with Tim Brewer on our Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim.
Oh, I didn't do anything. He hit out of gear.
One of the most important aspects of road racing is taking care of the transmission and keeping it cool. When we go to an oval, we put it in high gear. The driver never shifts gears. But here at a road race, you're downshifting to third gear, coming back to second gear to slow the car down. What you're doing, you're generating a tremendous amount of heat through the gears in the transmission. We have to run an internal pump to pump the oil out of the transmission into a cooler and returning it back into the transmission. Because if you're going to run all day at a road course, going through the gears, generating a lot of heat, if you don't keep the transmission cool, you're not going to finish the race.
All right, Tim, thanks. And they're having trouble getting Kenny Wallace's car refired, so the 09 continues to sit on pit road while they explore what's going on with that. Still under caution to Road America, Michael McDowell, Jacques Villeneuve going to be first and second for this restart. That should be exciting when we come back.
Why don't you push the button? There you go. Push the button on steering wheel.
Watching Kenny Wallace here at Road America, still trying to get some fire to that 09 car.
There it goes.
Yeah, they've lost a battery or something, put a new battery in the car. Kenny said they got power now. Now they got it lit back up. They're trying to get the battery bolted back in and secured, Andy. That's going to be a tough job.
Yeah, they got a lot of time to work. That's one of the good things about a road course. You got a lot of time. But here comes the field now. They're getting ready to get the green. He'll probably go a lap down. Yeah, here we go.
McDowell clears Villeneuve. 12 cars did not pit. Ron Fellows first off pit road, restarted 13th.
So all got to get through that turn one and not get off, and then down here to this turn three now. This is the other corner that's really hairy on restarts. Looks like they're going to make it through there pretty clean right now.
So Billy Johnson at 60 now, staying out after making that green flag stop. Paying off for him from track position. Going for 7th spot.
Here comes the spot. He had trouble with the wheel hop a little bit ago, though. Turn 5. For the lead, Villeneuve inside of McDowell.
He's going to get it, too.
Oh, there's Brian Scott, gravel trap. Drove it through.
Yeah, he did a good job getting out of it.
You're right. Keep coming. Keep coming.
Ron Fellows was getting knocked around.
See, Max Pappas now trying to make his way back to the front after that penalty.
Andy, it's like they got to get the tires warmed back up. The driver's got to settle in to get the rhythm again after a restart. It takes a little bit of time for that to happen. The tires don't have a lot of grip after a restart of a race, and because of that, you see a lot of these guys sliding around. But this guy here, Villeneuve's got that clean air on the front of that car. He's hammering down. Him and Michael McDowell get away from all that stuff that's going on behind him.
Back at some of these cars. Stenhouse in the 6th, Leffler, Fitzpatrick, Alex Kennedy in the 23. Still got 27 cars on the lead lap at this point in the race.
Yeah, Stenhouse made a decent recovery. He's up in the top 15. He's running 12th after his little incident and fender damage that he had earlier in the race.
I'll tell you, that corner right there, getting around turn 13, 14, that is a cool corner. I came here last year, drove a car, Andy. I could almost run wide open through there. It had so much grip. It's probably the most fun part on the racetrack, right down in that turn 13.
The race leader is about to be penalized by NASCAR. Jacques Villeneuve changed lanes before he got to the start-finish line on the restart.
Ooh, that's a no-no.
Yeah, we found a lot of people getting in trouble with that rule this year. You have to hold your lane until you pass the start-finish line. Okay, they're almost there, but they're not quite there. He did move over.
Yep.
And he didn't really need to. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't thinking.
That stuff is close calls. There's no doubt about that.
Well,
But,
it's
you
going
know,
to be costly, though.
You know, and that's one of the things that comes to play guys that don't race in NASCAR every week. Some of the race procedures are specific to NASCAR.
It gets some of the veterans, too, though. That particular rule does.
8 lanes till after the start-finish line.
and, you know, this is such a close call, in my opinion, changing lanes and what Max Backus did coming down. But a rule's a rule. I mean, that's they put these rules into effect, and Dave looks like they pushed it a little bit.
You saw Todd Gordon talking with the NASCAR officials as soon as he passed the start-finish line. It's not like Jacques didn't see the black flag. He said, "Why did I just get the black flag?" And then they began explaining to him what the rule was, and so he'll be doing the pass-through penalty, much to his chagrin, guys.
And that's a couple of penalties now with these ringers. You saw Max Pappas. He ran through 5 pit stalls when he made his pit stop, not really thinking, not needing to, didn't give him any advantage. And he got penalized, and then here you see, got Billy Johnson in trouble with the 60.
He is off the course. Is that down at turn 5? It is down at turn 5. That's where he had trouble before.
He just kind of goes straight. He's got some kind of issue there.
Yeah, he just gave it up on this one.
That was find a place to pull it off and park it.
Must be a transmission. Something could have broke something here.
Yeah, we'll have to get a report on Billy Johnson, see exactly what happened. But
and there's Jeremy
tough deal.
Clements at the top of the hill. Turn 6 is stopped.
Yeah, that's in a bad spot. They may have to throw the full course yellow for this one.
Villeneuve in.
Serving a penalty. They might get a break here with that 51 car stalled on the track.
This pit road is 1,970 feet long at 35 miles an hour. Well, the guys are coming past you on the racetrack doing as much as 170.
You got to believe that all the drivers and crews on the radios are telling me the crews are telling their drivers what just happened with the 22 car and make sure they don't do it themselves. They're also reminding them what happened to Max Pappas. Make sure you don't drive through your pits. This is a big wake-up call for a lot of people out there.
Caution is out for that 51 car. Jeremy Clements stopped under the bridge there at turn number 6.
Be a little bit of a break for Jacques Villeneuve.
Gonna let him catch up to the field anyway.
Yeah, at least he can make up some of the ground he lost. Still has a lot of cars to pass.
It's a tough spot, like you said, Alan. That's a blind spot. As you peak the top of that hill right there, it's hard to see cars up there until you get there.
Yeah. Yeah, no question. That was a needed caution flag there.
It's a great shot right here. We just saw the extra asphalt added to the track. Reduced the gravel trap last year. Last year they had a lot of cars go off at turn 6, and they would get in the gravel. Because of that, the racetrack put a lot of pavement right there to try to help them. Then they started the gravel right here, trying to eliminate a lot of the long cautions we had last year.
So third yellow of the race is out just past halfway. Trevor Bayne is going to get the free pass on this one. Come back around on the lead lap. Bayne's had some difficulties earlier in this race. Stalled it on his first pit stop. Had a spin down in turn 1. Car was overheating. But he's going to get a good break here as he's going to get back on the lead lap with this yellow. Trevor in 27th position for the moment. Looking to see where the 22 car blends in after his penalty from the lead. And we'll let the field come back by to just double check that the scoring is all caught up to date. Right now, Villeneuve showing in 22nd position in the 22.
Alan, I want to go back to some of the mistakes Villeneuve made with, blend or changing lanes too quickly and Max Pappas. I mean, Andy, you got to remember when you were crewing and I was driving, they would come across the radio and say, hey, be careful in your pit road speed. They're getting all busted in this particular area. And it would resonate all through the crew chiefs down through pit road. And I guarantee you that's happening to all these guys out there right now. And a lot of them are going, wow, I forgot all about that.
Oh, yeah. If I'm on the pit box and I see a penalty like that, just like you say, I would make my driver aware that, hey, they're watching this. Make sure we don't get caught. We just saw somebody get penalized big time. I mean, that was a big penalty for Villeneuve to have to go to the back of this field just for basically moving over to the right. And it didn't really help him. That was the thing that gets me. It didn't do anything for him. Nobody was behind him. He wasn't trying to fend off anybody. He just didn't think. He just didn't know.
Well, we had Max Pappas go tailback because his problem, he's all the way back up in the 12th position, though. And he's going to gain some more, that's for sure. The guy's flying in that number 33 car.
He restarted 23rd, Rusty, and he's back up to 12th. So caution a break for him, letting him make up some ground and tighten that field back up again and double up for the restart.
And Kenny Wallace now gets to catch back up to the field, even though he is a lap down. And after having his problems on pit road. Don't really know what happened with Billy Johnson's car here. Something broke. Something important must have broke. Shannon?
Yep, got it. Yep. Oh, hey guys, 60 car, waiting for Billy Johnson to come back here right now. He did radio into the crew and said he lost fuel pressure, so they don't exactly know, obviously, until the car gets back here what's going on, but they're waiting for him to get back here. The crew guys are waiting for the 60 car to pull back.
Well, that's a tough break. He had a good car today. Overcame a few mistakes, but running well.
So Billy Johnson is sidelined from this one. Just a few pit stops. Mike Beam saying, nah, we broke. The FIFA Women's World Cup gets underway tomorrow. Coverage starts on ESPN2 at 8:45 a.m. Eastern. Nigeria facing France. Then on ESPN at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, it's Germany taking on Canada. The FIFA Women's World Cup, ESPN2 and ESPN tomorrow. And today it is Road America and the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Just past halfway in today's 50-lap, 200-mile event. Michael McDowell is the leader. Jacques Villeneuve was leading a little while ago. Had a problem on the last restart that caused him to get a penalty from NASCAR.
And take a look at this on the restart. He kind of changes lanes before the start-finish line right there. Gets behind Michael McDowell, and that's a penalty. You got to stay in your line until you pass the start-finish line.
Jock trying to figure out what exactly did I do wrong?
Explain to me what I did wrong.
As you came to the start-finish line, you blended over behind the 18. You have to maintain your lane to the left.
Okay, was to avoid getting out in traffic. Oh, that's annoying, and that's very unfair.
Annoying, that's a good word.
I'll tell you, he was very polite. I've heard it pronounced different ways, and drivers have different reactions. That was pretty calm right there.
Yeah. So Villeneuve finds himself in 23rd position as we get set for a restart. Coming up shortly, not right here, though. Michael McDowell is the leader. Trevor Vane got the free pass on this caution. Mentioned Villeneuve a minute ago, trapped back in 23rd position. And the running order of the race has really been jumbled up by these cautions and various pit stop schedules that have been going on. We'll sort it all out for you and get you ready for the restart when we come back to the Bucyrus 200 at Road America. Michael McDowell in the Joe Gibbs Racing 18 is the race leader. Third caution of the Bucyrus 200 at Road America is about to wrap up. We'll set you up for the restart in a minute. First, Billy Johnson has made his way back to the garage area. Shannon?
Well, Billy, I know this has been a roller coaster for 24 hours. Walk me through what happened. You had made your way back into the top 10.
Yeah, we had a good qualifying starting fourth, and then Ron Fellows got by me, and from there I knew we had a real good car, and we were just cruising. We were just letting the laps wind down, and then had a little learning experience in the pit stop, and was back in the back of the pack, and then worked my way back to the front. Had a good pit stop by the guys. They did an awesome job, super fast pit stops. These guys just rock, and was able to just continue to work my way back into the top 10, and just trying to let the laps wind down. Knew there was a bit left in the car, and just trying to keep it clean, and made a few mistakes here and there, but just getting everything lined up to charge for the last part of the race. But unfortunately lost some oil pressure and wasn't able to finish. It's a little bit of a heartbreaking way to end a race, because first time Carl hasn't been in the 60 car in a long time, but Fastenal, I just have to thank them. Everyone here has been awesome, and they're just a great partner with Ford and the Roush Shades engines, and just want to thank everyone, Jack Roush and the whole team, Mike Beam, and the whole crew for all their hard work and for this really awesome opportunity.
Thanks, Billy. Alan?
Hi, Shannon, thanks. So Billy Johnson out of the race. Field getting set for the restart. All the different strategies that have played out. Look at the running order. Elliott Sadler up to second. Andrew Ranger is up there in the top 5. Ron Fellows is 5th for the restart. Steve Wallace 6th. Allgaier, Leffler, Almirola, Ricky Carmichael in the top 10. Max Pappas is 11th. And Jacques Villeneuve is 17th. We're going to go racing with 21 laps to go.
So Villeneuve's 17th. We'll see where he is after they make a lap.
You're saying he's not going to be there?
I don't think so.
Okay. Let's see where he is after a lap. The 7 on the move, inside lane, turn 3.
Basically a single file racing around here, but they're doing it double file. These double file restarts make it exciting.
Oh, they do. And that doggone turn 3 we just saw right there, that's really a trouble spot on these restarts. These guys run out of room and they try hard. Looks like most of them made through there, though.
Fellows diving inside of Sorensen. Leffler backing out from inside of his teammate, looking for the 22. He's trying to find some spots to make some ground up.
Got to get pretty physical right here. A lot of pushing and banging, and when the cars get pretty slow, then you can do things like that. But when they're going real fast and you try that, you do a lot of spinning. Oh, look at this.
Almirola contact there between he and Pappas. Villeneuve trying to follow through. Boy.
Max does a great job to get back by Villeneuve. Pretty aggressive.
Carousel. Is that Steve?
Yeah, he's broke something. Steve Wallace's hand out the window. Evidently got a problem there.
And that contact he had back there in that jam. Look at this. Coming downhill toward Canada corner. So it is McDowell getting clear of Elliott Sadler for the lead. Look at teammates all running in a row there. 32 Sorensen, 38 Leffler, 31 Allgaier.
And another teammate, Ricky Carmichael.
In the 30. Those drivers all racing there at 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Where did Villeneuve end up after lap 1?
11th.
Picked up 6.
Pretty good. If he pick up 6 more, he'll be back where he can see the lead.
That's the problem with this racing team. The closer you get to the front,
it gets harder and harder. Looking for another spot. Here goes Villeneuve inside of Ryan Scott. No, that's the 88 car, Veric Almirola.
Yep.
Okay, he is using those brakes hard. Villeneuve is. We talked earlier about how he took all the tape off the front of that car, but we were noticing, Andy, at the start of the race on Jacques' car, to cool those brakes down because they've been so troublesome for him.
Steve Wallace in. Left rear is flat, is the report, or a suspected left rear flat.
Had a little trouble getting that tire changed.
Yeah, and the cars went down on the air hose.
On the air hose.
Just jack up, hurry. We got the hose stuck. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Go, go, go.
No.
Yeah. Real fumbled pit stop right there.
But green flag at this track. They can stay on the lead lap if they can catch a caution, come back around. Could they make it to the finish from there?
Yeah, possibly could. But the problem is losing so much time on that pit stop. But yeah, they should be able. They could possibly make it. There's 20 laps to go. It'll be about 80 miles.
I think their window's fine right now for having the distance. It's like you said. I think in our report before the race started, we talked about pitting in lap 10. And then pitting again with 20 to go, which would have been lap 30.
Check out the guy running in third. Right there, 53, Andrew Ranger. Remember, he had trouble in the very early laps of the race. In fact, why don't we update you on a lot of the guys that are running up in front of this race. It is Michael McDowell, who is the race leader. And let's go up to speed. with Nationwide Insurance. Dave Burns, how about the 18?
McDowell has been up to speed since he hit this track. Remember his history here. Lots of races in open wheel, knows this place well. They last pitted on lap 17, which means if you come back from 50 as Elliott Sadler looking to make the move for the lead, he's not going to outbreak McDowell, but can he do the crossover? Possibly. McDowell trying to stay out, and it's going to be tough through turn 3 here, guys. It looks like Sadler is going to... Wow! So close. And McDowell's going to power down off of the turn. Again, stopping lap 33 and 35, perhaps for the last time. Shannon?
And remember, Dave, Elliott Sadler is making his very first start here at Road America, so that is some great driving. They went pit strategy very early on, so they will have to pit around lap 34. But that car, as you can see, as he's trying to get that lead, is fast. Jamie?
And Ron Fellows behind him, man with 4 road course wins in the Nationwide Series, but has yet to win here in a Nationwide car. In the 7 car, you're seeing him, the 51 battling up front. He's looking to pit next around 34 or 35. Shannon?
Well, Jamie, Andrew Ranger, he got that speeding penalty earlier in the race. He managed to stay on the lead lap. This team missed all of first practice because they had some tech issues. He was able to get in second practice. He won an ARCA race earlier this year, guys. He is starting in Montreal, and what a race it is for him today. Alan?
Yeah, Shannon, 1 car for this team. This is a brand new machine. He's been running 5 different series this year. The ARCA Series, the K&N East Series, the K&N West Series, now the Nationwide Series, the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. And he's doing a tremendous job today here at Road America.
I mean, it really is tremendous. You can imagine now if they bring it, just go build a car, drop in on these boys after they've been racing this thing for, how long, and to be this competitive. This is impressive by Andrew Ranger.
Well, I saw Andrew Ranger last year at Montreal, Canada. In fact, the last couple of years, and seems like he wins those races that are held the day before the Nationwide races almost all the time. And a real good road racer. One of the guys that I expect to run good at a track like this because of those skills I've witnessed.
Ranger, 24 years old, Roxton Pond, Quebec, carrying a decal on the side of his car for the Cam Neely Foundation, which is a charitable effort started by Boston Bruins great Cam Neely, now the team president there of the Stanley Cup champs. Andrew's from Quebec. We were talking hockey the other day. He said he's a Canadiens fan. I said, how you got a Cam Neely Foundation sticker on the side of your car? So let's look at some strategy here, Andy and Rusty. These front runners, the last time they were on pit road were those laps. We're at lap 32 now.
Yeah, I expect those leaders to come in any time now. We just heard, I think somebody said they were going to pit at lap 34.
Yep.
So we'll see, what these leaders do. I think they can make it from here. The thing that a lot of crew chiefs are thinking about right now is if we do have a lot of late race cautions and this thing goes into overtime, a green-white checker finish here uses a lot of fuel, and we could have up to 3 of those. So we want to try to have enough fuel in the tank to handle that.
That's definitely got to be on their minds. We talked earlier also about fuel mileage, and we know that most guys can get 4 miles per gallon. These cars should be able to go 18 laps at least with no problems. And if they're saving some fuel out there and getting a little bit better, they may go to 20 laps, something like that. But I'm saying 18 to 20 is about 20 being the max. As far as the distance, if you just run straight out with no cautions.
We're riding along with Justin Allgaier. I talked to his crew chief, Jimmy Elledge, and Mike Kelly, the crew chief for Ricky Stenhouse. And that was on their mind big time, is don't let these cars run out of fuel today. That was what worried them the most, because if you run out of fuel on this big 4-mile track, you're definitely not going to make it back, and it could ruin your day. So they don't want to run out of fuel at any point. So that's what's on their mind.
Watching Reed Sorensen and Justin Allgaier in 5th and 6th positions. 2 of the 4 bunched atop the Nationwide Series championship standings. Remember that earlier in the day, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had a spin and some troubles. Stenhouse is in 14th. Allgaier is in 6th. Sorensen is in 5th. And Elliott Sadler is running in 2nd. So some points and point positions could change hands today here on this road course.
They don't get those points out until lap 50. And that a lot can happen between now and then.
That is for sure.
You see Villeneuve now working on the back of Max Pappas in the 33. He's made up a couple more spots. He's running 9th. Looking for more here. He's caught Pappas, and I don't believe I'd want to hold him up too long. He might want to force it. Yeah.
Pappas went to pit road there.
Making a pit stop.
Wow.
That was cool.
Took it right to the last moment there before he got pit road. Almost caused a big wreck between both those guys.
See, Ranger on pit road also.
So here we go with what should be final pit stops for some of these drivers that have been running up front. Andrew Ranger giving up 5th position. Max Pappas giving up 7th position. Almirola, J.R. Fitzpatrick also in. 17 laps to go. Here's Ranger, Shannon.
Yeah, Andrew Ranger had a speeding penalty earlier in the race, so you know he's being very careful as he makes his way down pit road. They're going to go to work on this car. They're going to take some air pressure out of those tires and make a 4-tire change for the 53. Dave?
Max Pappas is on pit road. He was really happy with the race car after they made a lot of changes the time before. No tires changed, just full of fuel for Max.
How about that?
Yeah, that surprised me. Not taking any tires. I talked to some of the crew chiefs though before the race, and they said the tire held up well. Matter of fact, some of them said they ran some of their fastest laps in practice with laps on the tire.
And how about that move to pit road for Max Pappas a minute ago? Villeneuve was trying to pass him coming off that last corner, and Pappas was trying to get right to get to pit lane.
And Pappas going, hey, man, I got to get to the pits. Please don't try underneath me. Look at the inside, outside. Woo! Right there from where they slow down, guys, to the first pit, they say it's almost 845, 850 feet. They go slow for a long time when they come off the track to that first start zone to the first pit box. Long way.
Ron Fellows on the move in the 7. Second place, he gets it from Elliott Sadler.
Elliott's doing a good job. This is his first time on this course, but he's got a lot of road racing experience by having run the Cup Series so many years. So he's not new to this style of racing.
Yeah, you're right. I remember him out at Sears Point, California, at the Roadcast course in California out there, really running good and qualifying well. He's pitting right now for his last pit stop. Right there, from there, 845 feet down there to the first pit.
Yeah, you can't even see the first pit stall yet.
Look at that. He's running 35 miles per hour, agonizing, so slow.
And again, that done because that bridge you saw Elliott go under, it's narrow in there. You don't want race cars running through there at top speed in the name of safety.
First pit right there. Still, just finally got to it.
So Sadler in, giving up 3rd position. On the right side of the screen, you see the leader McDowell continuing to charge around the track. Okay, Shannon.
Well, there are 4 tires on the wall right now, Alan. Ernie Koch telling his driver, be very careful on pit road. They've got a lot of drivers down here today. The car, as you can tell, very good. The front end is starting to come to Elliott Sadler. And guys, remember, he is in the hunt of that championship battle right now. He is doing a great job today here on this road course.
We all saw Elliott Sadler just before we went on the air with Countdown earlier, and he told us being involved in this championship, his day was about just a couple of things. Staying on the track, running their fuel strategy, and not making any mistakes.
Yeah, it was all about the big picture for Elliott Sadler. And asking him about his teammate, Max Pappas, he said Max said he was going for it, that he was going to be very aggressive.
And Elliott told us, he said, I told him, just go on, just go on.
Yeah, watching Ron Fellows here, riding with Ron Fellows. I watch him today and I say, okay, he doesn't have the fastest car. 18 and 22, right? McDowell and Villeneuve are the fastest cars, and maybe Max Pappas a little faster. But Ron has been right there near the front all race long.
He'll wear you out at one of these road courses.
He just needs something to fall his way here to get a shot at the lead.
It usually does for him.
88 was just in a minute ago, weren't they, Jamie?
Yes, they have been struggling on pit road. 3 bad pit stops today out of 3 stops. They dropped a lug on the right rear. That last stop, they had to come back in for a splash and go.
I'll tell you what, I have seen some atrocious pit stops today with cars pitting. They have got this thing.
It's very hard, though.
It's a tough deal.
You know, when they switch these pit roads around, you're pitting from the other side. You can see the crew's looking at the car from the other angle, and it just throws you on your heels. And you can see right there, they left that lug nut loose. And there's the official saying, bring her back, boys. Pop's not happy.
No, that's what he gets really upset. He cares so hard. He works so hard. Very competitive.
All right, here's the leader coming down pit road. Michael McDowell is coming in with 15 laps to go. Allgaier, Sorensen, Carmichael, Stenhouse following him down the pit lane. McDowell going all the way to pit number 1.
I'd say this team right here is one of the best in the business as far as pit stops. 18. Vince?
The 31 of Justin Allgaier, they're going back on the air pressure adjustment that they made previously. Crew Chief Jimmy Elledge described the day as mellow. That's a good sign for the car, Dave.
4 fresh tires, slight air pressure adjustment for Michael McDowell. This weekend he told me road race was about 2 things, getting it stopped and getting off the corner. It's that grip off the corner that he wants to have, fuel and a tear off as well. Shannon?
Well, the word on top of the pit box to Reed Sorensen, make sure you get in full. That's full of fuel, 4 tires, no changes for the 32.
Right side of the screen now, Ron Fellows is the leader. We were watching that McDowell pit stop from up here carefully.
Yeah, you're watching this. You're usually seeing stops in that 13, 14 second range. You don't see that on these road courses. It was what, 17 plus on the 18 car. Yeah. Max Pappas, the 33, only taking fuel. He was only in the pits for about 10 seconds, so he should be able to make up some of that ground. He was behind the 18 car before they all made the pit stop.
Once the rest of these guys up front, like Fellows and Villeneuve, remember he's still out there, make their stops, it'll be interesting to see how Pappas cycles in.
Mike Wallace now running in the 4th spot.
Canada corner there for Fellows. Talking with Ron earlier this weekend, he's got a really cool program going on a couple of fronts. Buy a new Corvette ZR1. You get a couple of days at Ron's driving school, and he has a blast teaching people performance driving.
I did NASCAR now this week.
Whoa, wow.
But one of the satellite truck drivers bought one of those new Corvettes, told me he was going to go out to Las Vegas and do the school with Ron.
Ron, part of a group that just bought the famed Mosport Raceway in Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada, looking to revitalize the track that he just has a great passion for, and he's hoping he can find a way to get some NASCAR racing up to Mosport as well. Another one of the great historic road courses. Fellows is in for his stop. Villeneuve goes to the lead. Jamie?
Ron Fellows doesn't say much in the team laps. They said he drives whatever we give him. He's happy. 4 tires, Sunoco fuel, no changes for Ron Fellows.
Bad stop.
Yeah, 15 and a half seconds is not bad when you switch everything around like that we have here for this race.
So now on the right side of the screen, watching the 22 of Villeneuve. Last in at lap 26. He's got a few more before he's got to worry about stopping. Okay. McDowell and Pappas and Fellows.
How about that? They all ended up together. After all those pit stops, 3 of them are bumper to bumper.
Well, Max was back behind these leaders a good ways, and his strategy's paid off for him. Now he's racing the 2 cars that were leading the race before this round of stops. So this should be, when everybody cycles through, this should be for the lead. That's why you see him racing so hard.
Down the hill to turn 5.
The thing Max has working against him, though, is he has older tires.
Right now, this is for 9th, 10th, and 11th positions. Right now. That ticker cycles through. Sorry about that. As that ticker cycles through, next time across the top of the screen, everyone in front of Pappas has yet to make their last pit stop. McDowell has pressed so hard at times in this race. In the 18.
He had a good car, too.
Here we go. Villeneuve is in. Gives up the lead here. This is going to be with 13 laps to go.
Got plenty of fuel in it to make it to the end with 13, so no problem right there.
McDowell does get by Pappas.
And we'll see where those guys come past the pit lane when Villeneuve comes out. They should be clear of him. Should. Dave?
And we'll watch for that, Alan, as you see the leaders on the right. Villeneuve gets a 4-tire change on the left and full of fuel to the end. I think these guys remember Montreal last year. Didn't we have 3 green-white checkers at the end? They'll have lots of laps of fuel. There go the leaders flashing by. Villeneuve will cycle back. Looks like he leaves pit road in 4th or 5th, Alan. Maybe 6th.
So So he needs caution to catch back up to those other guys and get a double file restart to have a shot.
And we heard Dave talking about 4th, 5th, or 6th. That's kind of relative to the cars that have pitted. Right. And that's kind of how it'll cycle through. And that's the way you look at it. I know on the pit box, I'm looking at this as actually being the lead. But right now, Mike Wallace is the leader.
But yet to make his final pit stop, 13 laps to go in the Bucyrus 200. Welcome back to the Bucyrus 200 at Road America. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. 12 laps to go. Mike Wallace there in the 0-1 car is your race leader. Mike, one of 5 who've not come to pit road. Check that now down to 3 who've not come to pit road. Make that 2.
Now down to 2.
Josh Wise just pitted a second ago. Here comes Mike Wallace to pit road. It's going to hand Brian Scott the lead. We check with Vince.
Well, and after back-to-back top 5s, a premature end of the day for Trevor Bayne. It seemed like you guys were in the hole early today. Ultimately, what was the demise?
Yeah, we really were there. We tried some pit strategy, short pitting everybody. But once we short pitted, the caution came out, and we tried to save fuel instead of catching up to the field. So then it didn't pay off at all. Then we lost about 6 spots from that and got back there in some cars we shouldn't have ever been around and ended up getting real sideways trying to pass somebody and spinning out. We got dirt in the radiator, and then it pushed all the water out, which led to us blowing up later. So it's kind of a chain of events that we kind of induced on ourselves, but we had a good run going the first, 10 laps or whatever it was till we pitted. We were really fast, and I learned a lot today, so that's good, but wish we could have got a better finish for the 16 team. But we'll go to Daytona where we know he can run good, take some good cars, and, hope the best for Michael McDowell. I think he's leading right now, so I hope he ends up getting this win here, but we'll see what happens. Let me go watch.
Alan?
Well, at least now we know why he didn't start in front of those cars that pitted under caution. He was trying to save fuel, and he was not staying caught up with the field.
There's your leader, Brian Scott. Has not pitted yet. Michael Annett has not pitted yet.
Hey, there's an outside chance. Andy was telling us that Brian Scott and Michael Annett might make it on fuel. Might not have to stop. If they can pedal the thing a little bit, be easy on the throttle, they might barely have enough gas to make it.
Well, the last stop for Brian Scott was on lap 28. I believe 22 to go for him. And that's
pushing it.
That's pushing it. It's pushing it. He may or may not be able to make it. We'll see.
Watching Villeneuve there get by Reed Sorensen to pick up the 9th position in the 22 car. Next in front of the former world champ will be Elliott Sadler, who is running in 8th in the 2 car. You can see him just ahead. Well, there's the 11, Brian Scott. He's up 8.7 seconds on Michael Annett. Shannon, the question is he going to stop?
Well, according to the team, no. They're going to stay out. They're going to go for it. Remember, Brian Scott had to start at the back of the field 39th because of adjustments made after qualifying. They actually flat spotted the left front, had to change that one tire, send him to the back. So certainly a great run for him to the front.
All right, so there is the word from the 11 team's pit. The other guy who hasn't stopped in this cycle is Michael Annett.
Yeah, one way that Brian Scott could save some fuel is to not use as much brake, get in the corner. Got a good lead, so he doesn't have to really, be aggressive on the brakes. And but believe it or not, just not using brakes will save quite a bit of fuel. But you can see Michael McDowell's not trying to save any fuel. He is on the move. That second spot he just took.
Yep. So that makes Annett's fuel run at the win irrelevant because Michael McDowell is by him and up into 2nd place.
Yeah, if he can just save some fuel right now, Michael, and just pedal it and maybe get a good top 5 finish out of this thing, that's probably the next strategy they need to go for right now. Just
Brian Scott trying to get his first Nationwide Series win. First wins on a road course. That's a pretty good list of guys.
He could make that list. That's a pretty good one.
Elliott, Hamlin, Montoya. So 10 laps to go.
I didn't realize Bill Elliott's first Nationwide win was on a road course. I know his first Cup win was on a road course at Riverside.
Yeah, Watkins Glen went up there and smoked the field that day. I mean, just smoked.
You don't think of Bill Elliott as a road racer, but both his first wins in both series came on road courses.
Well, you just got to believe things are going to heat up in a little bit here, Alan. I mean, this thing is 10 laps to go. These drivers are getting impatient. Happens almost every single time.
It's still 40 miles to go. A lot of racing. 10 laps to go, still a lot of racing.
Yeah, but as a driver, I hear 10 laps. Yeah. It just sounds short to me. Versus,
yeah, I know it.
But it's a big track, 4 miles around this place.
Let's talk about that 62, Shannon.
Well, I just checked in with the team, Alan, and it sounds like they are staying out as well. They came down and topped off lap 27. So they're going to go for it. Great birthday present for Michael Lynette, guys. He turned 25 this weekend. A top 5 finish and maybe even a win would be a great birthday present for this young man.
Absolutely. So, inside the final 10 laps, but as Andy said, still lots of miles to go in this one. How's that fuel strategy work out for Brian Scott? Michael McDowell is out ahead of everybody else who's pitted already. Late stages of the Bucyrus 200 at Road America for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Brian Scott in the Joe Gibbs Racing 11 trying to play fuel strategy into a victory. But cue the Jaws music. Yeah, here comes Michael McDowell in the Gibbs 18. Want to see a cool picture of Brian Scott really trying to crank hard and hang on to that lead?
Yeah, I do. Let's check it out.
Watch this.
Ooh, carrying a little air right there.
Oh, that's cool. Hang time, too.
Yeah. Boy, look at the grills knocked out.
Doug Toes is knocked out of it.
See that?
Yeah.
That left one right there, really.
A little farther back. Michael Lynette fading, saving fuel.
Fuel strategy, just slowing up, try to make it in.
That is 6th position he's back to now. Pappas in the 33 through to 4th. Villeneuve in the 22 through to 5th. Villeneuve has led this race 3 different times today, but got caught for violating NASCAR's restart rules, changing lanes from the outside to the inside before he got past the start-finish line. Had to do a pass-through penalty. It kicked him all the way back to 22nd position from the lead.
He's recovered quite well, but you have to use a lot of car to come through that many spots on the road course. Really been working on Max, though. Not able to get by.
I like how these real late turns. Look at Jock Villeneuve.
Hey, bouncing the tires there. You'd hear Max struggling for forward bite.
Max had to drive the car awful straight, Andy, into the corner, and it forces him to the outside of those strips. So Jock really made a late turn. He really got some good forward bite off the corner. I call it that road race turn. Late entry.
Pappas on older tires. Remember, his final pit stop was just fuel only for the 33.
I think he's going to pay the price for that strategy. I know it gained him a lot of track position, but not having the tires that these leaders have is going to hurt him.
Listen to the squealing tires there.
Justin Allgaier doing a really good job, too. He's running 6, caught those guys, and now here's the race for the lead.
Coming up the hill to start-finish.
2 Joe Gibbs cars there. Looks like Joe can't do anything wrong when it comes to this. The team's 1 and 2 at the moment right now. One we know can make it on the fuel, and the other one's questionable. The 11 car, Brian Scott. I'd say he's going to have to go into fuel conversation mode pretty shortly here now, guys.
McDowell to the lead with 7 laps to go, Dave.
Remember, this is the 2nd time for McDowell with his 18 team this year. Earlier, he raced at Iowa. He will again race Iowa and the short track in Indianapolis, the Lucas Oil Raceway. As far as another road course, well, you know, Montreal is one of those weekends where you might have a different driver in the car, and no one's scheduled, according to the team right now in the 18. They're talking about it. A win today would go a long way toward perhaps a sponsor, and Michael McDowell being associated with the Montreal race as well, Alan.
It would be fun. You saw the gap there, back to Ron Fellows, who is currently 3rd, and will be trying to close in on Brian Scott to grab 2nd and see if he can somehow eat into Michael McDowell's lead.
Michael McDowell was the fastest car of the last lap. 2nd fastest was Ron Fellows running 3rd. Looking down through the field, looks like Andrew Ranger had a bad pit stop, lost a lot of time, but he was the 3rd fastest car of the last lap.
How about this? Last driver other than Kyle Busch to win in the 18 car was Denny Hamlin. Michael McDowell, 26-year-old, originally from Arizona, came up in road racing with a road racing background, was the winner of the Mexico City race for the Rolex Daytona Prototype, the Grand Am Series, back in the 2005, made the transition to oval track racing, Rookie of the Year in ARCA in 2007. I think a lot of people came to know him from that crazy qualifying crash he had driving for Michael Waltrip Racing at Texas Motor Speedway a few years ago.
Vicious crash in qualifying. Amazing he got out of that car.
Well, Andy, when we started this broadcast, you said it was going to be a road race ringer win this thing, and I said it was going to be a nationwide regular.
This guy's got to be somewhere in between, right?
Looks like you're putting it on me right now.
The compromise candidate. McDowell leading Fellows by 7 seconds. 7 laps to go at Road America. Five laps to go in the Bucyrus 200, the NASCAR Nationwide Series. At Wisconsin's Road America, you're looking at the leader, Michael McDowell. In the Joe Gibbs Racing 18, he's out in front of second place Ron Fellows by 7.4 seconds. We'll keep an eye on that interval from first to second because McDowell heard this from his team a minute ago.
Nice and smooth. I want you to start backing her down right here, okay? I'll let you know. Just save those tires for me. How much you want me to back down? Are we short on fuel, or you just want me to save the tires? Just saving tires. We're good on fuel, just saving tires.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do any good to go out here and try to stretch this lead. Got plenty. I mean, 7.5 seconds. You know, no reason to not just back off, give away some of that lead. Look at this race. These guys have been going
That's the second time that's happened now. They just keep going after it. And the 22 car, Jacques Villeneuve, keeps getting off course because of it.
That's 4th and 5th place, the racing for Max Pappas, 33. Jacques Villeneuve, 22. Elliott Sadler closing in from behind on them in the 2.
Yeah, going back to McDowell, I mean, the only way he can really lose this race is going to be if a caution comes out. So if it does, they want to have good tires and enough fuel for some green, white, checker finishes if it comes down to that.
And you just can't overdrive the car and slide the tires around, push the front end and slide the back end around. That's what the crew chief's trying to do, is calm them down, not let that happen. But I have not seen Michael doing that. He's drove real smooth right now of late, keeping the grip and not overworking those tires like the crew chief wants.
The question is, are we going to see the caution? This race last year, the second half of the race was rugged, would be a polite term.
I'd say.
In the final 25 laps, 5 cautions and a 30-minute red flag. We have not had a caution in this one since right at the halfway mark of the race. Just 3 of them all race long so far.
I don't want to jinx or anything, but I'm not seeing this thing looking like we're going to have a caution. And it's been a trend we've been seeing lately in the Nationwide Series. We just haven't seen these late cautions like we've been accustomed to seeing.
Just takes one wheel hop into the gravel trap, though.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, one wheel hop and get somebody stuck in that gravel, it'll take a long time to get them out.
Fun stuff. Max Pappas, 33. Jacques Villeneuve, 22. They've been going back and forth in the mix between them and McDowell and Ron Fellows for the lead a lot of the day. And for the last little while, wow, Villeneuve in deep there.
Yeah, it looked like Max may let him go. Well, maybe not.
No. So where are you going?
He's trying everything to get by that 33.
They call it racing.
That just shows you how far he drove that car in the corner.
Look at the wheel. Look at the front wheels. Look at him working that steering wheel.
He drives it hard. There's no doubt about that. I mean,
the front brakes aren't holding up to be able to overtake him.
They said the brakes are having problems.
Yeah,
now?
he said he's having trouble to make those late braking moves that he needs to make to try to make up these spots. It's crazy. He'll lose all this time to Pappas, run right back to him, basically pass him, overdrive it, and then have to go back and do it all again.
You know, he's got 4 laps now left in this race to try to perfect that. We know his front brakes are fading a little bit, causing that problem. You got to have good brakes if you're going to try to overtake a guy, drive in real deep, and get it stopped without wheel hopping the back of the car. And that's what's going to happen next.
Remember this race last year when he was driving the 32 car, Villeneuve we were talking about, was pumping the brakes all the way down that downhill straightaway to turn 5 to try and have enough to make a pass, and he was the show in the late part of this race last year. He made some dive bomb moves into Canada corner and so on, and
he's putting on a good show today.
Yeah.
Here he goes again. Look at him. Running up on the back bumper, Pappas.
Oh, look at that 41 car off at the kink.
Oh, this could be our caution. This could be.
Got some debris back there, too.
It is the caution, Rusty. That's the hat trick for Doug Harrington today. 3rd incident for him. And yellow flag, full course with 4 laps to go. 3 when the leaders come back around. We're going to have a little overtime racing here at Road America.
I believe I'm going to stand up for this one. It's going to get wild.
He wasn't kidding, folks. He did. That's that high-speed kink there, turn 11.
Ooh, yeah, there's a couple guys got off there today. Jason Boyles had a problem there. Look at it. Oh,
hardly.
So what's going to happen now with a double file restart late? We'll be back for it at Road America.
Bucyrus 200 at Road America is brought to you by Bucyrus, supporting clean coal technology.
And before we settle this one at Road America today, reminder that ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball continues tomorrow and Monday night. First, Sunday Night Baseball at 8 Eastern. The Cleveland Indians head to San Francisco for a matchup against the defending world champion Giants. Then on Monday Night Baseball at 7 Eastern, it's the Cincinnati Reds and the Tampa Bay Rays. Both games part of the AL-NL Showdown presented by State Farm on ESPN Sunday and ESPN2 Monday. Both available online at ESPN3.com and on your phone. The Boys of Summer. Racing's Boys of Summer got a little potential extra work to do, but this is an interesting situation. We're under caution because Doug Harrington hit the wall exiting the kink on the backside of the course and scattered some debris on the racetrack. Not expecting any of the front runners to pit, but the field has not come by pit road under control of the pace car yet. They will do so this time. NASCAR is allowing everybody to pit, lead lap and lap down cars. They call it a quickie yellow. And then the way they do things on the road courses, they can give the one to go out in the back part of the course and usually do. So we could see, depending on how the cleanup goes, a one-lap race to the finish. We could see the green at the white flag, or if they don't, then we could go into the green-white checker scenario.
Yeah, we'll just have to see just how they let this caution flag cycle out. Some of the guys would not want to see green-white checker. Might be like Brian Scott. He's probably the one that has the least amount of fuel.
Michael Annett is going to have to pit. And that looks like there'll be a few others on the lead lap. Eric McClure, Josh Wise, Alex Kennedy, Eric Almirola, Steve Wallace, Dennis Setzer, and the Harrington car that was involved in the wreck will be those that pit under this yellow flag. Shannon.
Well, Alan, obviously a change of strategy for the 62. They were going to go for it, but now they are pitting. Obviously, 4 tires, air pressure adjustment, and some fuel for the 62 of Michael Annett. Dave?
And Shannon, Michael McDowell stayed out. This is one pit call I think I could have made today. But you've been asking him to slow down, save some car for you. Hard to get him to slow down. Can he hold these guys off?
I think he can. We're good on fuel right here. I just knew, I didn't know, but I knew the potential for a caution to come out here. So we were just saving tires right there, but it was hard to get him to back off. I think they get used to running a pace out there, and it's hard to get them off that. But Michael's done a great job today, and you know, hopefully right here he can hold off the 7 car. Ron's pretty good, you know. Hopefully he can hold him off and get his first victory in this series.
A lot of talent collecting around that 18 car, guys.
A lot of people collected around you there on the 18 pit box, Dave.
And they were all smiling, too, weren't they?
Yeah, smiling, but probably a tinge nervous, too, because now for this restart, that blue car right there, that's old Ron Fellows in the 7. And we've been talking about him all day, maybe not having the best car, but being there and being there and being there. Now on a restart with the race on the line. Old experience might come into play here.
A lot of experience. He's really good at that. That's the good stuff. The bad stuff is that we're late in the race. These guys are low on fuel. The front brakes are kind of burned up on them. And we've talked about this wheel hop stuff all day long. And that's the perfect scenario. Wore out front brakes, light wheels on the back. You hit the brakes, the back starts bouncing, or a bunch of jumping up and down. And on this restart, these guys have got to get very, very aggressive and take that to the limit, Andy. And I don't think some of them are going to make it doing that.
Well, we've seen Villeneuve and Pappas going at it. I expect that they're not done racing for that spot. But looks like the 18 car's been really solid all day. Michael McDowell's done a great job really not making any mistakes. And Ron Fellows, you just never know what he's got until he has to put it on the line. And right now, he has to do it. So we'll see what he has.
Field will get the restart when they come back around. Dave?
5th place, Jacques Villeneuve. Does he have enough brake, Todd Gordon? And can he get through that mess after everything that's happened today?
You know, after that penalty, I think we've driven back to the front. We got the brakes pretty hot there. Discount Tire Dodge has been good all day. A little cool off on the brakes here. I think he'll have something. I don't think we can get all the way to the front, but it'll be exciting for this green-white checker, see what happens here.
Let's push Jacques right back in contention. That yellow, guys, was a boon for these guys.
Yeah, he's got a shot to regroup and he hasn't been afraid to try it. We'll see how the 22 cycles out in these last couple of laps. Quick reminder that the Summit Racing Equipment NHRA Nationals are coming up tonight at 10 Eastern Time on ESPN2. That's qualifying. The finals will be tomorrow at 8 Eastern, also on ESPN2. Get ready for the Sprint Cup race tomorrow with NASCAR Now, presented by 5 Hour Energy, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, ESPN2. And then the next NASCAR Nationwide Series race is a good one. The Subway Jalapeno 250 at Daytona, Friday at 7 Eastern, ESPN Daytona. Need we say more? Shannon?
Well, down here with Kevin Kidd, Brian Scott currently running third. 28th was your last time you came down pit road. How confident are you guys you can make it to the end?
Oh, not real confident. But we're gonna gamble a little bit here. I think it's a gamble in the position we're in general with points and everything else. Man, why not? I think it's worth rolling the dice here a little bit. It's close. It's very close. I'm 50-50 as to whether we're going to be able to pull it off or not. Really didn't want that last caution. I think we're going to be fine until that. Now it's into overtime a little bit, and that kind of hurt us some. We're going to do what we can here.
All right, 50-50. Alan, I guess it could be worse.
All right, so let's hear some radio from the 11 car.
If you do not get one to go here, you do not get one to go, I'm going to pitch you. If you get one to go, get all you can here.
They got one to go.
That shows you how close he is on fuel.
Kevin Kidd, the crew chief, talking to driver Brian Scott. So they're coming to the restart. Michael McDowell, 18. Ron Fellows, 7. Brian Scott in the 11. Max Pappas in the 33. Jacques Villeneuve in the 22. Owen Elliott Sadler is there as well. NASCAR saying this will be a green-white checker finish and the first attempt at it. So 2 laps to go if we don't see the caution in that time.
NASCAR's always said that they're going to finish these things with a green-white checker if they have to. So that's what we're getting here. We get one extra lap. Green flag.
Green.
Good start by McDowell. This is just what he needed.
That's Villeneuve, and that's going to be trouble. Pappas is off into the wall.
That was a bonehead move right there by Villeneuve.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Good job.
And Brian Scott in the gravel trap.
Right through the grass. That was not a move of a veteran.
Max had a good race going.
I thought the 22 was going to do something stupid.
Looks like we'll have more than one attempt at green-white checker.
Yeah,
Away it goes.
You knew as aggressive as Villeneuve has been in these races, he was going to try something on that restart.
Well, that's one thing to be aggressive. It's another thing to go in there and do that. I mean, that's just not cool.
That's not the way you gain respect out of your peers, I can tell you that. And Brian Scott, there's one guy I really feel sorry for. I really think his plan was going to work. He was going to make it on field, and now he's wrecked. One of our nationwide regulars working for the points. Let's take another look at this and see exactly what happened.
You see, looking for a place to go. Well, there's just no racetrack. He runs completely off the track in the grass, gets into Brian Scott, and this is what happened.
Saw pavement there where the pit exit is, but that pavement goes away, and that turned into grass in a hurry.
Thank you, Jacques. Good job.
Not much grip on the grass.
That's a hard lick, too.
Yeah.
You got to believe Max is going to have a conversation with Jacques at the end of this race. Has got to be upset. Race cars don't work too good in the grass.
Wow. So Pappas running 4th at the restart, Brian Scott running 3rd at the restart, and they will not come back around. At least Pappas won't. They may be able to get Scott out of the gravel trap and bring him around, but Pappas's car obviously heavily damaged there as they work to get them both out of the gravel trap in turn 1.
Sorry guys, I thought the 22 was going to do something stupid. When people think they want to be superhero, that's the way it goes.
Frustrations there for Max. Obviously, he's thinking they're going to pull that car out of the trap and he's going to drive it back around. But it took a pretty good hit.
Yeah, he hit that concrete wall hard.
Yeah. So we are under caution for the 5th time in this race. The finish getting a little rough and rugged. Looking from Elliott Sadler at his Kevin Harvick Incorporated teammate Max Pappas getting spun out in turn 1 and into the wall. Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, home of Road America. Today, home of the NASCAR Nationwide Series and some pretty hard-nosed racing at times. Yeah, cameras, cars, they've all taken a beating. Penalties. Jacques Villeneuve, one of the favorites, got tagged earlier in the race. It took him from the lead. One of the favorites sidelined by mechanical problems, and then this crash that has put us under caution and sent us to a second green-white checker finish. Villeneuve into Brian Scott and Max Pappas. And the 33 car into the wall, both 33 and 11, into the gravel traps, and have since been pulled out. So green-white checker finishes this year have been not frequent for the NASCAR Nationwide Series, but we're seeing a second one here today. Michael McDowell, the leader at regulation, and will he be the leader at the end of the overtimes is the question.
Oh boy. All right, get it up. Thank you.
They got all kinds of issues going on here.
Did it knock a hole inside the radiator? Did it knock a hole in the radiator full of water?
Max waiting to see if he's going to be able to continue in this race. Obviously, he wants to. They pull him out of the gravel trap, and
this is what he had left to work with. See, that left front tire's not turning, everything dragging in the front, and he's really lucky to make it back to pit road.
He drove it around, as did Brian Scott, and they continue to work on that 33 car. So, green-white checker number 2 is upcoming. Let's hear what some people on pit road are thinking, Jamie.
Ron Fellows crew chief Tony Uri Jr. Well, you guys are good to the end. I heard you say it. What do you think he has for this restart?
I don't know. I think Ron's doing great. I mean, the car's been there all day. You know, you knew it was going to come down to this sooner or later, you know, when you're doing these backwards pit stops. But, you know, right now we stopped a lap later than 18. The only thing we can hope is it stumbles on a restart or something, or, you know, maybe we have another green-white checker, and then that brings a whole new envelope into it. But Ron's done great all day. He's saving, and just shows why he's one of the greatest road racers around.
And he's looking for his first win here at Road America. Shannon?
Well, Jamie, Ernie Cope, and Elliott Sadler, you guys have been playing that fuel mileage strategy all race. What are your concerns as we get ready for the second green-white checker?
I'm worried about running out of gas. I mean, I think we should be good. It's going to be close, but we need to go green right away. And if we go another green-white checker, we can't do it. But we got one hope to get this one done, and hopefully it'll work out.
All right, fingers crossed up here. Last time they came down was lap 34. Alan?
I'm looking across at Andy as Ernie Cope is saying that to get a crew chief's reaction up here, and he's got his lips pinched tight and he's shaking his head. Oh, boy.
Yeah, here's the problem. You know, he's sitting there running 4th. Make a pit stop, you're going to go. There's 24 cars on the leading lap, or 25. So it's just going to – it's just tough. I mean, if it runs out of fuel on this last lap on one of these restarts, it's going to go at least that far back if he doesn't lose a lap. So just so much to lose by running out of fuel.
You know, I don't like to predict any bad things, but how can they not have another caution with these guys all hooked together on a green-white checker? I mean, the potential's there to do it again, and there's so many corners here to get aggressive at. You just got to believe it's going to happen.
If that caution comes out again, I think you're going to see some of the leaders come down pit road and get fuel. They're going to have to. Otherwise, they're going to be sitting out on the course.
Talked about it earlier. Green-white checker is 12 miles here at this racetrack. And there's still some cleanup to be done from those cars that came out of the gravel trap and drove around the racetrack to get back to pit road. Under caution after this incident, Villeneuve, Scott, and Pappas, and the cleanup continues from that. We've got another green-white checker to come. for a second attempt at a green-white checker finish in the Bucyrus 200 at Road America for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. They will be coming back to the start-finish line this time to attempt a second time a 2-lap finish. If you get a caution before the white flag in that one, there's one more attempt. And we have a fuel drama building here. Been some guys shutting cars off, coasting around under the caution. You heard Andy talk a little while ago about if we get that third green-white checker, we may see some pit stops. And I'm sitting here thinking, if I know I'm close on fuel, and I'm, say, Elliott Sadler behind the wheel, and I'm a championship guy, and I'm just trying to have a clean race, and I've been in the middle of all this hornet's nest, what happens if the guy in front of him stumbles on fuel?
Yeah, you know, right out.
I mean...
And that's something that can happen.
Oh, yeah.
They got to be prepared for that. I think Elliott's in good shape, though. He's on the outside behind Ron Fellows, and Fellows is good. Don't leave your couches because it's getting ready to get crazy.
28 corners, 8 miles. Fuel's tight. Michael McDowell, left of your screen, leading. Ron Fellows, right of your screen, is second. It's Allgaier and Sadler in row 2. Green-white checker number 2. Here we go.
Green flag.
Check out Allgaier. He's going to get the spot away from Fellows.
Wow, contact. Oh. 7's off the track. What a save. Still more contact.
They're just beating and banging herself all through these corners. Look at this. He's trying to push them off. The damage on the left front of Jason Luffler's car.
I think Fellows had enough of that.
He was second. Now he's 6th.
Hey, goes Allgaier for the lead.
This could be a tough corner for Allgaier on the outside like this.
That's Jason Luffler.
Oh, that's incredible.
Overshoots the corner. Allgaier is through the top spot.
You're all clear.
Holy cow. Where did Allgaier come from?
Carmichael is off. McDowell's off again. Now he gets hit. He's sliding through the grass. A win is disappearing from Michael McDowell. Behind him, there's cars scattered everywhere off turn 6.
Unbelievable. It could happen, though, and it's happening. Justin Allgaier drove a smooth race throughout the day. Kept it on the tracks, driving great. Now he's leading this thing with patience.
Ron Fellows is back to second. Here he comes in the 7. Caution is out for all those cars scattered off of turn 6. There's Steve Wallace, one of them. Alex Kennedy in the gravel trap.
Well, this is going to change everything. A lot of cars are going to have to pit.
Oh, look at that.
It's going to take forever to clean these up. I think a lot of cars are going to have to pit here because this is going to take a long time to clean up.
Too long now.
You may see everybody on pit road. How about Allgaier taking the lead on that restart?
Shut off, saving fuel. Check this out. Justin Allgaier and Michael McDowell coming down to turn 5.
He gets on the outside, has to give up the spot right here. It's just going to try a crossover, and McDowell just overshoots the corner, gets off the track. Now, he's okay. He's running second at that point.
Still there. Still there. You're all clear, bud. You're all clear.
That spotter's excited.
Yeah, he is.
So Allgaier is out in front. Michael McDowell, who was the race leader, ended up off the course. And watching for him to come by, McDowell's back in 18th.
Trying to figure out where Allgaier came from on that restart. It was just all of a sudden he's beside McDowell. There's so much going on. We only have 2 eyes to be able to watch it all.
So let's watch the exit of turn number 3, which is the corner that set up that long downhill run to the corner where he made the pass. McDowell had cleared Fellows going into 1. Allgaier hung in there. Here he comes off of turn number 3. And it looked like he just got a big run.
He did. He just got a big run right here. Looks like he might be able to pull it off, but now there's a left-hand turn down here, and he's on the outside.
So Justin Allgaier finds himself leading this race for the first time on the second green-white checker with a third and final coming up. Now, let's show you what happened that brought out the caution, the big mess that ended up at the top of the hill exiting turn number 6. Leaders come through. McDowell gets off in the grass. Carmichael's off.
It's like you got 3 or 4 wrecks happening together all at one time. McDowell now, his chances go away to win, or it appears.
And Steve Wallace got off and came across the track and collected McClure. Whoa. There's turn 5. Here's turn 6.
See, Carmichael going off in front of these cars.
Just real aggressive driving, guys.
Driver and crew chief of the 66 called to the Nationwide Series hauler to visit with officials after the race. So caution out for what is now the 6th time in this race. And Andy, it really does set up a fuel question for these guys.
Big time. I looked at the pit road was closed when they came by the first time, so it'll be open, should be open this time by. We'll see what can happen. I mean, you got to put it in perspective. You know, green-white checker here is what, at least 8 miles, right? 2 laps. That's 16 laps at Martinsville. So that's a lot of fuel, and it's just going to be surprising to me if you don't see a lot of cars having to pit here.
And they're all running around, shutting it off, saving fuel.
And one of these times they're not going to fire back up.
Yeah. So we had 24 cars on the lead lap. Going to lose a couple of those due to accident cars. But we're still going to have somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 cars. And again, Michael McDowell. What happened there?
I can't tell you. He hasn't flinched all day.
He just got pressured, guys, in my opinion. I mean, that turn 5 is one that sucks him right in there. And boy, Allgaier right on his rear end, and he got out deep. And when you get on the other side of those strips down in turn 5, it's hard to get back over.
Vince, Justin Allgaier finds himself leading. The question is, do they have the fuel for another green-white checker?
Well, they felt pretty good about their fuel before this one. So, Jimmy Elledge, how do you feel now about the 31 and the fuel load you have?
I don't know. I have to get back with you here in just a little bit. But, hey, I don't know. I mean, any one of these road course races that we've ever done good at, I feel like I was going to throw up for about half of it. And I felt pretty good most of the day, but I pretty much feel like I'm going to throw up right now. So, I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, we're pretty good to 56, but I don't think we can do much more than that. I mean, this racetrack is so big, it's 4 miles, so 1 lap is a lot of fuel. You have to say that's over a gallon of gas. So I don't know. Hopefully they get cleaned up quick and they go green and everybody crashes in the next corner. So that'll be the 3rd attempt and we can just get back to the checkered. So see what happens.
There you have it. Lap 56, the key for Jimmy Elledge and Allgaier. Jamie?
And Tony Uri Jr., crew chief for Ron Fellows, just gave me the thumbs up, said we are staying out, we're good, telling his driver, shut the car off as much as you can. You see him hitting the switches on the left side right there. This guy knows how to get it done. Remember, they pitted last on lap 35, so they should be good to go for another lap or 2, Shannon.
35 was also the lap that this 32 car, Reed Sorensen, Trent Owens came down pit road. All right, so what's going on? Can you guys make it with this one more green-white checkered?
Yeah, we get one more opportunity at this. It's going to be really close. I think our best shot is to try to make it. We really don't have good math on what the caution's actually saving us, but, you know, Reed's done an excellent job in the Dollar General Chevy, and, you know, we come here just in survival mode, and we just wanted to stay on the road and finish the race. Felt like we'd have a good opportunity to finish good, but it come down to this, so we're going to gamble and stay out for now.
Rolling the dice, the 38 team, Jason Leffler, he's currently running 4th out there, guys. He came down on lap 37. I asked the crew chief if they're going to be able to make it, and he said it's iffy.
Well, we saw Stenhouse make his move to pit road. That's a conservative move for the point leader as they run right now. I kind of like that strategy. You got to look at the big picture here. There'll be some cars running out of fuel.
The trick to all of this is, Andy, at 1 point per position, right? That's a lot of guys you're giving up right now to fall back.
Right now. Let's see what happens on this restart. If he's got fuel in the tank and all of them start running out, he'll just drive right by them.
Michael McDowell also on pit road. Mike Bliss, Max Pappas. And some stops here between the second and what would be the third and final green-white checker restart.
He saw Jimmy talking about he wants to throw up. He is not confident they could make it.
David.
Alan, Michael McDowell will take 4 fresh tires and get a little top off of fuel. They're going to pull some debris also away from the left front there. Had just a little bit of damage or debris from everything that happened on that last lap. A little overheating, as you can see. They'll make sure they clean the grill off, give them every opportunity there, and let them see well, too, by removing a tear off.
Michael McDowell led this race for 29 of the 54 laps that have been run so far. Off the course, out of the lead, and on pit road in the late going. Turner Motorsports, on the other hand, with the exception of Ricky Carmichael getting off course in that last little skirmish, has got all of its cars inside the top 5.
Looking good.
Do they have enough finish to get to victory lane and take home the trophy? The Bucyrus 200 at Road America coming up on its third and final attempt at a green-white checker finish. On the first of the green-white checkers, Jacques Villeneuve made a move. Max Pappas and Brian Scott got knocked off into the wall in the gravel trap. On the second of the green-white checker finishes, Justin Allgaier went by Michael McDowell for the lead. McDowell got off the track and a bunch of other cars crashed. And here we go for the third green-white checker of this day. Rusty, at the beginning of the day, you talked about having a hunch that a nationwide regular might have a shot at winning this thing.
Well, I mean, I had a hunch, but I'm not for sure yet. Andy's going for a road race ringer. Right now, Allgaier's leading. Looks like I'm winning this thing right now, but hey, this race isn't over, Andy.
I know. I feel pretty good, though, about fellas. That car, that 7 car, usually gets good fuel mileage. And so, that's what it's going to come down to. Who's got enough fuel?
So with this being the last attempt at a green-white checker, they're going to get the green. They'll have 2 laps to go. If the caution comes out in there somewhere, that's it. The race is over. The field is frozen.
And then you have to maintain speed back to the checker flag.
Justin Allgaier, screen left. Ron Fellows, screen right. In the first row, coming up to the start-finish line. 2 laps to go. Again, who's going to win it?
Justin gets a good restart.
Good job. Reed Sorensen to the inside of Fellows. Sorensen in the yellow car. That's for now second. He's going to squeeze by Elliott Sadler in the 2 to the inside of Fellows. Leffler's right behind him. Fellows looking back for second on Sorensen. Not there.
A real surprise that Ron didn't get a better restart than he did right there. That really could have.
Cars around there. Did everybody get away okay? Yep. A lot of squirrely cars in traffic. Sorry, Rusty.
Oh, don't understand.
Get the yellow here. The race is over. Villeneuve trying to come back. Contact there. Sadler and Fellows. McDowell.
Here they go again.
Almirola. That car's in the gravel trap. And it's not coming out.
Turn 6 right there, a real slick portion of the racetrack. Fellows doing all they can to hold on. There goes Brian Scott around. He's stuck back there. We're racing back to the checker now.
Elliott Sadler jostled around a little bit. Fellows through the third. Here comes Villeneuve back in that 22 on Jason Leffler. Allgaier leading. Sorensen second, Fellows now third. Still watching down in turn 5. Eric Almirola's car is in the gravel trap. The question becomes, when is the caution going to come out?
Now, this is a good thing for Allgaier because he's low on fuel. If that caution comes out now, then it means he doesn't have to run this last lap at speed.
How about that? Who would ever thought that these 2 drivers would overtake all the road race ringers and be out there? Wow, unbelievable.
But do they have enough fuel?
Well, I can't believe both of them are going to run out. But
they got one more. They're coming to the white, which would make 4 miles to go.
4 miles to come back around, even if the caution comes out.
Jimmy's stomach still hasn't settled, I promise you.
Jimmy Ellitt's the crew chief. Here he comes to the white flag. Yellow is not out yet. Justin Allgaier has started the last lap of this race. Reed Sorensen is second. You see the gap back to Fellows in third. Villeneuve in fourth. Elliott Sadler's been shuffled back to 6th. Michael McDowell is 14th.
That's amazing. After all that contact, Jock Fellow is up to 4th again now.
Caution. There is
now
the caution
flag. This might do it for Allgaier.
Got it off and
He's got to make it back.
Got it off. We just won this race. You guys are freaking awesome.
Shut it off and coast.
I
Save it.
think Justin did his part too.
4, I'm coasting.
Did a good job, man.
NASCAR reminding the teams over its race control radio, you have to maintain
This is
pace.
under caution. Caution flag speed is
Where's
45 miles an
Sorensen
hour.
at? Sorensen's gone.
Yes, he is.
He was running 2nd. He must have run out of fuel. There he is back.
He's maintaining speed. I don't know.
Elliott Sadler, look at him. Unless he's just getting back in line.
Uh-oh, looks like 31 might be out.
Is he?
Yep,
Is he?
he's out.
Oh, my goodness.
That's awful. Man.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Justin Allgaier's out of fuel. Oh.
That's a heartbreaker.
And you can't get assistance on the last lap.
And did Sorensen not maintain speed?
You've got to be kidding me.
His fellow's going to win this thing.
Let's start it. Send it over. Send it over.
But he's going too fast.
Fellows is going too fast right here.
Yeah,
they shouldn't be allowing that.
I don't know what Fellows is doing.
Supposed to be slowing down.
The pace car is going to come out in front of the 7. There it is. So now Ron Fellows has to have enough fuel to stay behind the pace car at pace speed.
Yeah, but he didn't have very far to go from here.
Well, he's still down the backside of the racetrack.
I'm telling you what, didn't I just say I can't believe both of them would run out of gas? One of them did, and something happened to Reed Sorensen.
Look, I think everybody, here comes Sorensen. I'm not sure about Sorensen. I'm not sure they should allow Fellows to just pass him. He slowed down to caution flag speed.
Yeah, that doesn't look right.
And they allowed him to pass. He didn't run out of fuel. It'll be interesting to see how they call this.
Yeah. So we will pursue that line of questioning. Right now, Justin Allgaier is trying to find some way anyway to get back around the racetrack to the finish line. And remember, that's going to cost him a pile of points, too. He was one of those guys in that
Now,
tight
Reed
finish.
Sorensen is contesting this spot.
Yep.
As he should. Caution came out. He slowed down. Nobody's able to pass under caution. And it's going to be a discretionary call on who is what is maintaining speed.
I believe I just pulled my nose up ahead of that 7 car just to make sure anyway.
NASCAR is saying Ron Fellows is the leader of this race in the 7. He's got to make it up the hill to the finish line.
Just stay right there, bud.
I don't understand.
He didn't maintain his speed, so you're in good shape.
That's true. He did not
That's what
maintain
they're
his
saying
speed.
about the 32. He didn't maintain his speed.
I looked down and said, where did the 32 car go? And I couldn't believe that he was missing out of this pack.
So they're going to come to the checkered flag with Reed Sorensen alongside Ron Fellows, but it is going to be Fellows in the 7 at the yellow and checkered who will win what can only be described as a bizarre finish at Road America.
Who would ever believed it?
So let's just recap a couple things here. The way that this is going to end up being ruled by NASCAR involves a couple of different rules that kind of have to be cross-connected to make this work. When a caution comes out, you're not allowed to pass, but you must maintain pace.
What is the pace?
That's a question.
It was 45 miles an hour.
That's a question. When the caution comes out, you're also supposed to slow down to a safe speed.
And Ron Fellows was still running about 3/4 speed.
Then there's the third rule, that is that you're not allowed to get assistance on the white flag lap. When Justin Allgaier ran out of fuel and couldn't maintain safe speed,
and he's still out there,
then he couldn't come back around and win the race. NASCAR says they are reviewing the finish.
Well, the caution came out. Reed Sorensen backed off to what would be caution speed. If I'm Ron Fellows, I guess I'd push the issue too. I'd try to run as fast as I could.
So we're going to go back and look at a couple of replays here and try and sort this out. The straightaway between turns 3 and turn 5, where Reed Sorensen. All right, there's Reed running second.
Okay, there the caution comes out. You can see him waving it at the bridge.
The waving yellow.
And you can see the 7 car hasn't backed off at all. Just blows right by him.
Elliott Sadler passing Leffler.
Yeah, a lot of people passing here.
Now is
caution's out.
Is Leffler out of fuel there?
No, he drove it around all the way. I mean, he was never. He's wide open. Caution flag is out.
But there's no doubt.
Well, it's just going to be up to NASCAR to decide who wins it. I guess they've decided it's the 7. It's under review.
And Reed is obviously looking to make a statement here.
Well, yeah, I mean, he thinks he did what he's supposed to do.
I should be in front of the 7.
Yeah.
Well, Ron Fellows did pass. There's the caution out. See the flag on the left.
See the waving the caution.
Let's watch Ron now. Can't pass under caution.
And Ron Fellows hadn't even lifted. He's still running wide open. Well, when the caution came out, you freeze the field, you maintain speed, and that's exactly what Reed Sorensen did.
So we'll see how they call it. Officials again reviewing the finish. There's Trent Owens, thinks he's gotten himself a victory. That looks at it all.
Maybe what you had is Ron Fellows trying to take advantage of having a little more fuel than the other guys and just saying, okay, we'll see what pace you can maintain.
So as they come back around to the pit area to regroup. Yeah, there you go.
Mike Wallace being scored right now in the 5th spot. What a great run for him. Andrew Ranger in 6th. Michael Lynette 7th. Stenhouse comes back to 8th after making that late pit stop for fuel. Now you can see the turnaround between Stenhouse and Allgaier.
Jason Leffler down to 20th. I believe he was out of fuel there off that corner on the last lap. Leffler I was talking about.
Leffler, yes. Leffler was.
And
here he's being pushed back.
And Justin Allgaier right now being shown in 19th position.
See Brian Scott right there, upset with Jacques Villeneuve there.
Yeah, he's not happy about that move.
I would say there's more than a few conversations going to be had in this
Could be busy in the garage.
Race.
Now they're saying Reed Sorensen's the winner. I agree with this decision.
NASCAR has made the call for Reed Sorensen to go to victory lane.
He still has enough fuel for a nice burnout. That was the right call. That's the right call. Good win for Reed Sorensen.
So Reed Sorensen gets his first win since 2007. And Trent Owens has got to be a little happier looking now, huh, Shannon?
I would say happy, finally taking a deep breath. Walk me through the last couple minutes up there on top of that pit stand. You think you're going to run out of fuel. You don't know if you get the win. What was that like?
Well, obviously he did a good job saving under the caution laps. You know, we really wasn't sure how much the caution laps was saving us. It was just a gamble, and we won it. But, man, you know, Reed was really nervous coming up here to do the road race, and he really hasn't shown a lot on the road racing tracks. We all knew that. But he came here and did a great job. Never went off track once in practice. Ran a great race. Got spun early in the race, but his strategy put us back track position and come out here with a victory. I'm a little bit surprised right now, to be honest with you.
Take a deep breath. Go to victory lane. Congratulations. Alan?
Did Reed run out of fuel doing burnouts?
Possibly.
That's okay.
Finally pushed it too
there it
far.
goes.
There it goes.
Nope, still running.
He didn't have far to go to victory lane. Hang a left there, Reed. Now, while that's been going on the track with the burnouts and the crew chief interview, we saw Brian Scott bumping on Jacques Villeneuve coming to pit road, and then once the 22 got to pit road...
Somebody else not happy, Max Pappas.
Remember those two involved in the incident on the first green-white checker restart that resulted in that 33 in the wall down in turn 1. Well, Ron Fellows is not in victory lane. Instead, he's at pit exit. Justin Allgaier disappointed. Michael McDowell disappointed. There's a lot of disappointed drivers.
This is a tough one
here at the finish of this one. How about Allgaier, Dave? He just can't be believing this.
And he's listening to the PA announcement, too, which is discussing it a third way to think about it down here. But what are your thoughts right now after having it and then not having it?
Unbelievable. Huge congratulations to Reed and all the Dollar General guys. I know that they worked just as hard as we did. And when we had such a close call there at the end, and I thought we won it. You know, I mean, the way the caution came out, I was pretty sure we had won it. And then we ran out of fuel. So proud of the Florida Safe guys, Florida Gulf Safe guys. I know they worked their tails off all day, and what a disheartening way to lose a race. Would have been great to win, but I don't know. I don't know what to, there's no words I can say. God definitely blessed me to be here and be up there where we could be capable of winning the race, and it just wasn't the right time. I don't know. Listening to all these scenarios, I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't know. It's just frustrating.
Thanks, Justin. Crazy day, Alan.
Justin Allgaier disappointed. His teammate about to celebrate. Turner Motorsports picking up its third win as a team in 2011. They've led 3 laps in those 3 wins. Jamie, it's Reed Sorensen going to do some celebrating.
For the first time since 2007, Reed Sorensen is in victory lane. He says, forget the hat, I'm getting out to celebrate. This is one pumped up team. What a crazy day. What an awesome points day for the 32. Reed Sorensen, you heard Trent Owens, the crew chief, say how nervous you were to come here and race for the first time, Reed. Take us through that last lap. Describe what was going through your head, what you saw.
I mean, I knew it was going to be close on gas for all of us, and I was just able to make it to the end. And, you know, we had a good car all day. Maybe not a winning car, but good enough to make it to the end.
The team sent you and your teammates up here last week to do a Miata day, just to have fun and learn the track. How much did that help you and Chris Cook learn about this course and how to get around it?
It helped a lot, and this is the last place I thought I'd win, but we'll take it, and just thankful to have Dollar General on board, and excited for next week in Daytona.
You like Harley Davidsons?
Yeah, I do. I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
You better ride it home. Reed Sorensen is your winner. Alan?
So Reed Sorensen ends up in victory lane after a bizarre finish on the 3rd green-white checker attempt at Road America today, with fuel mileage and various NASCAR rules crossing paths in a finish that is sure to generate some discussion and its share of controversy in the coming hours and days. Ron Fellows walking away, obviously not very happy. So another look at what happened when Justin Allgaier ran out of fuel.
Right here, the caution comes out, and Allgaier up ahead. Hadn't run out of fuel yet, but he's going to. You see those right where Reed Sorensen backs off, and Ron Fellows doing what he needs to do. He's wanting to go and try to pass these guys, make them run a faster pace than they want to.
And then Allgaier running out of fuel, going up the hill to turn 6. and a bizarre finish here at Road America. NASCAR making the call that Fellows did not slow down properly as he should, and sending Reed Sorensen to victory lane today here at Road America. So next week it's on to Daytona, where we'll certainly have some exciting racing there on Friday night in the Subway Jalapeno 250. 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Daytona, Kentucky, New Hampshire, Nashville, Raceway Park in Indianapolis, all upcoming for the Nationwide Series. By the way, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve and Watkins Glen road courses coming up in the month of August. Global Rallycross Championship is next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Reed Sorensen wins at Road America in a bizarre finish.